be defined on a map. We become a community with a shared understanding that when we rise together, we rise higher. Community America, powering the rise of Kansas City.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What if you could get world-class wine at an affordable price delivered right to your door in the safety of your own home? Cameron Hughes Wine has a unique business model, sourcing top-rated wines directly from the best wineries around the world. Cameron Hughes Wine is your personal sommelier, insider, and wine buyer. Currently available in limited quantities. Lot 747 Russian River Valley Pinot Noir, a smooth, savory gold medal Pinot from one of the best producers in California wine country at $16 a bottle. It's less than half of what you'd normally pay for this wine under its original label at the tasting room. And they have great news because today Cameron is offering a deal exclusively for 810 listeners. 20% off and free shipping on 3 or more bottles. All you have to do is enter the code NATE at checkout. Save money and drink the best wine. Go to chwine.com today to get 20% off the already great prices and free shipping when you buy 3 or more bottles. Just enter the code NATE at checkout. That's chwine.com with the code NATE for 20% off 3 bottles or more plus free shipping. Great wine, great prices delivered right to your door in the safety of your own home.
Number 1 all day, every day. Kansas City's hometown radio station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810. WHB, Kansas City. Isn't this a sports show?
Kiss my bum. Just go ahead. Please.
That did not sound good. Don't do that. It sounded tinny. Okay, you're done now.
Smooch it.
Almost entirely.
This is a good radio show. It's certainly a radio show.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I say it pretty frequently. I don't have a great memory, right? My best memories are Slim Chicken Space.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Beards, how do you pee?
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend is almost here. Welcome to a Friday edition of Almost Entirely Sports. 3 more hours until our weekend begins, although I'll be back in the building tomorrow for a little Sports Saturday as well. A little NCAA tournament action just around the corner. And with at least me and Rudy here as your preeminent college basketball experts for Sports Radio 810 as we reign supreme in the 810 bracket challenge among the 810 experts. Me and Rudy, 1-2 in that order. Gold medal, silver medal. Don't ask about Beards. Beards doesn't count.
Is he not with us? Is he not up there with us?
No, he continues to lose to an uninterested 11-year-old, an improv character, and a stuffed dog.
Really hurting our reputation, Beards.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I never said I was a college basketball
If there is
expert.
anything that this show has ever stood for, it's the fact that we almost entirely know everything there is to almost entirely know about college basketball.
I would say about almost entirely everything.
It's the show's name, Beards.
Yeah. You just gotta listen, Beards. I know that you're kind of like you look at the sport with the round ball and the net on the big stick, and you're like, ooh, ha ha ha, this is fun. How many points is this shot worth? I know that you're not really like a basketball expert, but we're gonna need you to kind of carry your own weight here, because right now Rudy and I are out here just curb stomping, the program which has some of the smartest sort of sports minds this side of the Mississippi, whatever side that is.
Whole family is quaking in fear.
That's right,
us.
because of how good our brackets are. And I mean, that is a smart show that knows its bleep. You've got the Border Patrol. We're vanquishing them right now, even as those guys are experts on pretty much everything. You know, the whole show, the show's core conceit is KU and Mizzou. The name of the show is about the border war. Two incredible shows, and also the zone. We're beating all of them.
Their name is a basketball defense, a zone defense.
You've now spent more time talking about the zone than I wanted to. Well, there's also some Oklahoma State sort of hurt. Really, right now, I'll tell you what. I went to Mid-American Nazarene University, and I have as many wins in the NCAA tournament in the last decade as Jason Anderson's school. So, it's been tough. Oklahoma State for Corey, and also Mick Shaffer, who will join us in a couple hours around out the week. That was a tough exit.
Yeah.
That was a tough exit.
I mean, I knew OSU was going to come out victorious in that game.
Yeah.
Just the wrong OSU.
Just a little tough. Just a little tough. But we'll talk to Nick.
State University had the win in the bag. I had that nailed. 2/3 of the way there.
O-State. O-State. Black and orange O-State University.
Okay, so I would say we were 75% right in that game.
Yeah, I think that's true.
25% wrong.
I think both of us are also 75% right about our Final Four so far.
Yep.
Cannot shake our confidence.
Who's your Final Four?
3 good teams and a bad one.
Do you not remember?
Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had the exact same.
I changed. I even
Forgot
changed
about
a couple
that.
things
Yeah.
after I found out we had a bunch of stuff in common. And
Yeah, we had the exact same.
listen, here's the thing.
I'm fine with it.
We're both working from the answer key, apparently.
Yeah, look at the results.
Scoreboard. Just the scoreboard. Beards, I would like to take a moment to look at your bracket and just sort of see kind of how you got to where you are.
Not well, let me tell you.
What were you doing? Do you know how seeding works? You do know how seeding works, right?
So do you know what basketball is?
We have the 810. We have the 810WHB.com bracket challenge with everybody at 810 and a whole boatload of listeners. There are like at least 3,000 people in that group. But in the AES group, with all 3 of us and a bunch of AES listeners, Richard Justice, the dog, and Dr. Professor both have 280 points. Beards McFly has 260, which is beating exactly one bracket right now that was filled out seriously. Iced Pyro is actually in last place, but their champion is Colgate. And so I think that one was a joke. Tim E. Sowers, my favorite display name in the tournament, is actually still losing to Beards, but they've got Gonzaga winning the whole thing. And Beards had Illinois.
I did.
So there is a legitimate chance that Beards' bracket, adorned with this Final Four of Iowa, Texas, Illinois, and Villanova, still active.
Active. Still good.
Still kicking. Beards may end up with legitimately the worst bracket seriously filled out in the Almost Entirely Sports Bracket Challenge, while Rudy and I are on top of the college basketball world. Beards, could you please make a public statement about this? I know we will return to respecting your privacy during this difficult time momentarily.
There's some brutal losses in there.
Your
too.
bracket is so red.
Yep.
It's so red.
The worst part is I had watched like 2 Ohio State games in a row during it was like the Big Ten tournament, and both times I saw them blow leads. And originally I had them going a little bit farther, and I then thought back about it. I even said this, I think, to you guys, where it's like, wait a second, why am I picking Ohio State to go this far? I know they don't go this far because I've seen them blow. The 2 games I've watched them, and they've both blown leads both times. I then knocked them back a little bit, but not far enough. I should have gone farther and followed my half-gut instinct in first round. The rest of it, it's not great. But
I believe on
like
Sweet 16
the only
teams.
basketball I've really watched this year is like KU, and then
I mean,
a couple games
as
here and
opposed
there.
to me grinding the college basketball tape.
I was
believe
gonna
yours.
say, here's the thing.
Let me say this before I forget the math. I believe your Sweet 16 record here, Beards, in terms of having Sweet 16 teams correct, is 7-9. You're the Jeff Fisher of picking Sweet 16 teams.
it's not bad.
Gonzaga, yes. Virginia.
Still
you
bad,
had
I'll take it.
Virginia in your Sweet 16. You're a traitor.
I know.
You should feel bad about
I know.
that one.
I didn't like that one.
You should have had that upset.
I know.
You got Gonzaga, they're in. Creighton is, or Virginia is not. KU and Iowa, neither of them are in.
No.
Baylor and Villanova, you got a full matchup there. Utah State and Iowa State, no. Michigan and Florida State, that's another one you got the full matchup. Texas, UConn, no. Illinois, Tennessee, no, but nobody really had Loyola, Oregon State. And then San Diego State, Houston, you got 1. So I think I actually may have miscounted. I think you may have gone 6 and 10 on bracket on Sweet 16 teams, just getting them there. It's an achievement, Beards.
I was almost 500.
It is an achievement.
You got 7, yeah.
Okay, I miscounted just now.
Gonzaga, Michigan, and Florida State's 3. Baylor, Villanova bumps you up to 5. No, hold up. Maybe I'm miscounting.
It's tough. It's a tough go of it. So we will go to Beards. We will have Beards predict each of the Sweet 16 games later on in tonight's show. I've just decided.
Yeah, 6 of them. 6 and 10.
We'll just see what Beards' record is when going into this weekend. We'll see if we can get you. You should fill out another Sweet 16 on bracket, like a second chances bracket.
Beards is more like end of his career Jeff Fisher, not Jeff Fisher at his prime.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Jeff Fisher's last hurrah kind of thing.
Jeff Fisher in his prime was just kicking out 8 and 8, 7 and 9 to 9 and 7 all day long. And there at the end, it started getting 6 and 10, 5 and 11. Really hurt the Hall of Fame resume.
But obviously, that is not the preeminent news of the day. Is Beards' bracket incompetence? We will talk more brackets in college basketball with Mick Shaffer at 9 tonight, and we will also talk to Matt Verderame of FanSided in about 45 minutes about all the stuff that's gone on so far these last couple of weeks. Really, you have kind of the update on where the Chiefs are at, what they have and haven't done. You have a blockbuster couple of trades that came in the first round of the NFL draft today, still a month removed from the draft. I've got a lot of questions for Verderame on that front. And then also, we got a little bit of very, very Chiefs-relevant news just about an hour or so ago. Returning to the location of his first visit in free agency, Sammy Watkins has officially, or I guess I should say reportedly, I don't think I've seen the team tweet this out, but Sammy Watkins has tweeted about it. Sammy Watkins has signed a 1-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. $6 million for 1 year. $5 million of it are guaranteed. Makes me think it's essentially all guaranteed, but I'm not sure what the intricacies of that are.
Just odds of him not getting all. Like there's a world in which he does it.
Maybe there's an incentive thing. Yeah.
It's probably likely he gets all 6.
It's a 1-year, $6 million deal. Sammy Watkins is officially done in Kansas City and is on to Baltimore in a career that's obviously seen him be an incredible athlete, a very highly touted one, a high draft pick, and in the Chiefs' Super Bowl run, a star. I mean, you got playoff Sammy. That really, we're going to crown a bunch of guys that way, and rightfully so. Whenever Damian Williams was released, you should have thought about, 50
playoff
years a lifetime and runs to immortality and all of that stuff. With Sammy Watkins, for me, I think Sammy Watkins may have the single highlight of my lifetime with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to say, wait a second, what? His touchdown in the AFC Championship game against the Titans, for me, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but that even more so than Wasp, more so even maybe than the Damian Williams touchdown, though those are very close. Sammy Watkins catching that touchdown, finally, after having dealt with this my entire fan life, finally put down that voice in the back of your head that says, hey, the Chiefs are going to chief here, just give it a second. Because Sammy Watkins' touchdown in the AFC Championship game against the Titans, that was the end of that voice.
It was over.
It was over. They were actually going to the Super Bowl. And now, look, obviously, they wanted to go win the Super Bowl. They did go win the Super Bowl. Damian Williams, I think, again, can kind of take credit for the highlight of Super Bowl champion.
Playoff Damian.
That's all well and good. Wasp might be it's almost certainly the most important play of my lifetime. We had 65 toss power trap for literally 50 years as something that we all knew, even though most of us didn't see it happen. We're going to have Jet Chip Wasp That's going to be on shirts. That's going to be the name of some production company. That's going to reverberate throughout history for the Chiefs in this modern era for the rest of time. It's going to be the quintessential Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes play. Whenever someday Tyreek Hill retires or is released or whatever, or is traded at the end of his career, what we're going to send out, even if the Chiefs win 3 more championships with him, the tweet we're going to put out, the video we're going to remember is going to be Wasp, because that was the first one. But for Sammy Watkins in that play against the Titans, that was the play that finally cemented that the Chiefs were finally going to the Super Bowl. We were going to spend the next 2 weeks getting ready for a Super Bowl. It was actually happening. It was not a dream. They are not cursed. It is the Chiefs heading to the Super Bowl because it has been locked up right here into the hands of Sammy Watkins. This is something that I mentioned even back whenever they cut Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. We're going to see these exits really for at least the next 5 or 6 years, and then eventually with Mahomes, right? Because eventually he's going to stop playing football.
You take that back.
I hate to put that into the
shut
universe.
your mouth.
Someday Patrick Mahomes
Beards,
will stop playing
dump it.
football. Yeah, that you probably
That's
should.
an FCC violation.
Twitch is going to hear it, but that's okay. We're working blue. But for everybody except for Patrick Mahomes, I don't know who's going to be the last sort of guy out the door. It could be Tyreek Hill. It could be Travis Kelce. I'm trying to think if there's a younger example of somebody that's going to be around for a very long time. I don't know. Maybe it's Andy Reid. But as each of those guys eventually are retiring or being released or whatever, most of them are going to be able to put out a highlight that summarizes their spot in Chiefs history as something incredibly iconic. And all of them are going to have a picture of a Super Bowl ring, a picture of them holding the Lombardi trophy on top of the double-decker bus like Mitch Schwartz tweeted out whenever he was released. And that is something that I think is going to continue to make me feel good about whatever happens with these guys. There's at least that moment in time, and none of them are leaving as losers or as guys who fell just short. Everyone on that team accomplished the goal they came here to accomplish. Obviously, if you're Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Andy Reid, a bunch of these guys, you're going to want to do that many more times between now and whenever their careers ultimately end. But it's a very powerful floor to set for everybody. No one from that team is going to leave Kansas City without a moment and a memory of them celebrating as champions. And Sammy Watkins very much deserves those mentions. That the playoff, listen, I don't really want to do this tonight. I may not really want to do this ever because I think this conversation is exhausting. But did Sammy Watkins, do the Chiefs win the Super Bowl without Sammy Watkins? Did they win the Super Bowl without Frank Clark? I don't know. My inclination is to say yeah, probably. Most likely, yes. Because you're not replacing those guys necessarily with literal ghosts. You're replacing them with a player. Sammy Watkins over Richard Sherman also. Somebody else could have been there for that route.
That ghost runs like crisp routes. I mean, why not?
Maybe you should. But again, I don't really care for that conversation. I think it's kind of
splits?
it's untimable. But I'll tell you what, you know what ghosts are extremely good at? Getting through press man coverage. Can't get your hands on them.
True.
I don't really care to have that valuation, that value sort of conversation. I just don't think it's that fun. I don't think it's that interesting. But I do think taking the second to snapshot the moments you remember from these guys is something that we're not going to regret taking 5 minutes to do before immediately moving on to, so what are they going to do next? But there's that. Rudy, do you have anything to add on Sammy Watkins before I do move on to what's next? Because eventually I am going to move on to what's next immediately.
I mean, here's the thing. Like the production never quite matched the money, right? But it was clear that the team was better when he was out there because he was at least a viable option who knew the offense, who ran solid routes, who had a way of he had that connection with Patrick Mahomes, especially when plays broke down, he kind of knew where Mahomes wanted to go. And that may be the biggest thing that he did because especially in situations where he wasn't there, McCole Hardman struggled with that. I mean, yeah. It's just the reality of the situation. McCole Hardman still has a chance to have a very bright future, but that was to me maybe the most clear thing where McColl and Mahomes just frequently were not on the same page. I don't think it's necessarily a huge problem. I think, COVID can be a big reason why that was the case. But, it's still incredibly likely they win a Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is very good. They weren't going to, like you said, if they didn't get Sammy Watkins, they weren't just going to just be like, okay, cool, we're just going to go out here with Demarcus Robinson and as the number 2. They would have went and got somebody, and that somebody probably, and honestly, who knows? Maybe that somebody's better because he's healthy for 16 games. So maybe that somebody else actually has a bigger impact. He helped them win a Super Bowl. He made the Chiefs offense better. Was he overpaid? Sure, but that's free agency, and especially at this point, I don't see any reason to be mad about Sammy Watkins being overpaid or not. Especially now, it's over with. It happened. We've moved on. It didn't prevent the Chiefs from, I almost said the Royals, the Chiefs from re-signing Patrick Mahomes or re-signing Chris Jones. They overpaid Sammy Watkins, and it really didn't hurt them to do it.
There's one thing that I've seen become a bit of a prevailing thought also that I guess is a little bit of looking back and a little bit looking ahead. Because I tweeted earlier, I really like Sammy Watkins, and I hope he stays healthy and performs well in Baltimore. Also, I understand why the Chiefs are ready to move on.
Yeah.
Also, they currently don't have their Watkins replacement on the roster.
It's got to be frustrating to have a guy that talented who can't be on the field. I would argue that this is not necessarily the right way of thinking, but there is something like coaches where they would rather have a player who maybe isn't as talented but is out there for 16 games versus the player who is maybe significantly more talented, but you don't know if he's going to be there for 16 games. I think I'd roll the dice, but also I kind of get it.
But the thing is that has gotten the pushback is the last sentence, which I find to be essentially inarguable. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs do not have a Sammy Watkins replacement on the roster currently.
Do not.
I get the response of Pringle can't be a possession receiver. Somebody else. This is it. In response to that, the one I just failed to read well. This is it. Pringle is the exact same receiver as Sammy and maybe faster. I'm ready to finally see Pringle get a bigger role.
I mean, he could be faster, but that means nothing.
McCall Hardman is faster than Sammy Watkins also.
That means also, we act like Sammy's slow. That's not the point. But the dude ran like a 4.340. Sammy's blazing.
So the two, I understand how this happens, but I really dislike it. Mm-hmm. Because it's really predictable and it's really shallow and really weird. To say the phrase Byron Pringle is the exact same receiver as Sammy Watkins is simply silly. Mm-hmm. This is not the best barometer for talent evaluation. But do you know where Sammy Watkins was drafted? Fourth overall. Fourth overall. I
thought maybe it was like the 7th pick in the 4th round or something.
No, fourth overall pick. Byron Pringle was, I believe, an undrafted free agent.
Yes.
That is not the one and only indicator of how talented a receiver is, but it's a pretty good indication of how their talent was evaluated heading into the NFL. Just as one data point. But beyond that, there is a very, and I'm going to have a really hard time saying this in a way that's not really sort of dismissive and kind of like snobby or whatever, and I'm just going to have to eat it on this one, I think.
Do it.
I don't really want to sound like elitist media snob destroys dork on Twitter.
Drag him.
I don't really want that.
Put that dork in the hall.
But there is a okay, hold on. Here's my framing at the beginning of this. I'm not implying at all that this is the way that all of your sort of average fans think, because I don't believe it to be true. This is also not mandatory that fans think this way. But there is a sort of I don't know, perhaps a lowest common denominator sort of a level of maybe I can even be generous and say casual fandom that leads to the age-old obvious trope of the starting quarterback sucks, play the backup, oh, the backup was worse, everything is terrible kind of mindset. The reason that your evaluation of Sammy Watkins has tanked the way that it has is because he wasn't there for the Chiefs' playoff run this year. his ceiling is not memorable to you or as memorable to you as his injury history was. And I have had more Chiefs fans in my mentions telling me that Nick Allegretti can play center and that Byron Pringle can be this team's number 2 wide receiver than I ever would have expected at any point in my natural life. By the way, part of the frustration with the Chiefs pass catchers last year was what it looked like without Sammy Watkins out there. If Byron Pringle as your 4th receiver and Nick Allegretti as a depth piece on your interior offensive line are totally fine. But the reason that you think so highly of those guys is because they're not asked to do what Sammy Watkins can. Mm-hmm. If Sammy Watkins was given Byron Pringle's 25 targets, you would be clamoring to see more of Sammy Watkins. That's just how this works. It's really frustrating sometimes because as soon as they become like your guy, it's really hard to knock somebody off their spot on that opinion.
And he's a local guy.
Which is
the other thing. Like it just.
But you're not doing Byron Pringle any favors by saying that he's better than Sammy Watkins.
No, but I just mean like it amplifies the local fan, right? The fan from getting into the guy, right? Because again, it is the thing. We love the backup because he's not playing as much, so there's a little bit of that. There's that unknown factor.
Do you know how little I have to dig in on that particular bit? By the way, DeMarcus Robinson. The response on Twitter to the Chiefs signing DeMarcus Robinson was largely weeping and gnashing of teeth. Mm-hmm. You loved DeMarcus Robinson whenever he stepped in against the Jags 2 years ago, had a huge game, and then all of a sudden, he had to be this team's number 2 wide receiver, and he dropped some passes, and now you hate DeMarcus Robinson.
The thing I'll say, I 100% I agree with everything you're saying. But this is the circle, this is the circle of life for NFL players, and it's been like this since. I mean, I imagine since before there was even really sports coverage, right? Like again, you love the backup in part because there's the unknown factor,
absolutely,
and you forget that the backup is a backup for a reason. Yeah. And then once he becomes a starter, typically you see that, and then that's when and you just do this circle, and there is this sense of like we just keep repeating the same mistake. And the reality is, I like Byron Pringle. It more than likely, and I hope this doesn't happen to Byron Pringle. I hope it doesn't happen to the Chiefs because it means the Chiefs don't have to make Byron Pringle their number 2 wide receiver. There's just a good chance at some point this will happen to Byron Pringle to where all of a sudden he's going to get put into an elevator role. And it's not that he'll be bad, but he's not going to be what you think. And then all of a sudden maybe he has a drop or has one bad game, and now all of a sudden you flipped on him.
It's just of life.
And then I don't know who the next guy is, but whoever the Chiefs sign, and maybe it's Jordy Fortson. Maybe he's the next guy in this circle of life.
You definitely put an R in his first name.
Oh, that's right. It's Jody.
Listen, if we could get a Jordy, all those K-State fans would be able to allocate their love in a different direction. I hope it's Jody Fortson. I want Jody Fortson to be good. He just hasn't gotten.
The funny thing with that was
me saying, no, they don't need to add another receiver. They have Jody Fortson. I've been excited about Jody Fortson for 2 bleeping years, and the fact that he's never gotten on the roster. Mm-hmm. I'm also not going to tell you that Garrett Dieter should be this team's starting slot receiver because I think if he was supposed to, he probably would have gotten a bigger role by now. Here are 2 totally incompatible thoughts, okay? You cannot be in Veach we trust, don't criticize the front office, don't second guess Andy Reid, and also say Byron Pringle is the same guy as Sammy Watkins, and also DeMarcus Robinson should have gotten re-signed, and the offense is going to be fine with just throw the ball to Byron Pringle more. Because the Chiefs have shown you what they think of. They gave DeMarcus Robinson a veteran minimum deal. Byron Pringle is just a dude on the bubble. And they went and they paid Sammy Watkins. They overpaid Sammy Watkins, frankly. Yeah. They went and paid Sammy Watkins. They went and tried to sign Juju Smith-Schuster this offseason. These guys are not all the same. There's so much evidence of that.
And this is another thing where it's just like where we fall into the same trap, right? The circle of life, where we love the free agent signing, and then a year or 2 into it, we're talking about him being overpaid. That's free agency. There is almost no free agent in the history of free agency that wasn't overpaid, because if you hit free agency, you typically have usually there's more than one team bidding for you, and therefore you have to maybe spend a little more money than you'd like to. Every free agent is essentially overpaid unless they sign Unless they sign a minimum deal like DeMarcus Robinson, then it's hard to argue that he's overpaid. Unless you just say he
Unless
just shouldn't
you
be on the roster.
are on Chiefs Twitter and,
Yes.
you don't like DeMarcus Robinson. There's a tweet from Mike on Twitter. It says, Sammy was as talented as any wide receiver in Chiefs history. He just can't stay healthy, but too many have equated that with sucking. I think that's a pretty good take because he really was as talented. Sammy Watkins, again, this is not a perfect metric, but I was actually tweeting about this earlier, and we may circle back on it here momentarily to talk about the big trade that happened today with the Dolphins and the Niners and the Eagles and all of those moving parts and everything. But the Bills traded up from 9 to 4 for Sammy Watkins, and then Mike Evans went 7th, and Odell Beckham went 12th. Sammy Watkins went ahead of those guys.
That receiver draft classes.
Yeah,
wild.
Brandon Cooks was like the bust towards the end of the first round. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, because that was Jarvis Landry's in that draft. Like it's just an incredible receiver draft. Like it's kind of like I guess 2 years ago now, DK Metcalf, your AJ Brown, like it just
McCole Hardman.
Yeah, he's there.
But the Bills said we don't want to wait and roll the dice on getting the lesser of Mike Evans and Odell Beckham. We're gonna trade up and go get Sammy Watkins, and he's been injured. And if you want to have a conversation about his value and his availability, that's very different than saying Byron Pringle can do everything that Sammy Watkins can do. It's just a fundamentally like ridiculous take. You might be able to say that he's going to be on the field more often. That's fine, but so will DeMarcus Robinson, and you hate him.
Very important Facebook comment from Johnny Green. You guys are clowns. Ever play football? Question mark.
Wow, good point, Johnny. Good point,
Johnny. You obviously don't know who the host of this show is.
Good point, Johnny.
Mr. Joshua Brisco was an all-state homeschooled quarterback.
It's true.
Nobody was throwing dimes around the Brisco backyard.
Nobody was catching them either, but it wasn't my fault. You're talking about throwing. You want to talk about?
Hey, Patrick Mahomes has thrown a lot of beautiful balls that just went between the hands of his receivers.
Great point.
Hit him in the face a couple times too. It happens.
You talk about having ghosts running routes.
Oof.
I was throwing to ghosts. Johnny, if you can hit us back on Facebook, if you're still watching, which I'm sure that you are, you're reading your comment. If you can respond over the course of this commercial break with a comment that is coherent and explains what exactly you disagree with, we will read it in its full context whenever we come back, and then I'll take off my big red nose and respond to it.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Foley Rental is your local equipment rental store for commercial, industrial, farm, and residential project needs with a large fleet of aerial lifts, generators, trench shoring, air conditioners, and concrete equipment. And Foley Rental offers a wide selection of machine attachments for skid steers, excavators, and loaders, all supported by over 400 certified technicians. Foley Rental, committed to you from the ground up. Call 855-RENT-FOLEY or visit FoleyRental.com.
Premier Mazda of Kansas City, where you can save thousands on new 2021 Mazdas. All new 2021 Mazda 6 Touring, just $269 a month. Mazda CX-5 Touring for just $289, and the Mazda CX-9 Grand Touring, just $389 a month. The deals don't stop there. Get the 2021 Mazda CX-30 Premium Package for just $249 a month and as low as 0% APR for up to 48 months. Come to the #1 Mazda dealer in KC, Premier Mazda of Kansas City, home of the Premier Promise. Right past State Line and 135th or at PremierMazdaKC.com. See dealer for details.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Let's take a second to think. Are you happy with your job? Maybe it's because your job is not a career. Let's change that by joining Team RMEC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. If you're looking for a career as an installation or repair technician, then let's talk. There's a reason why RMEC leads the way in the greater Kansas City area, and that's because we treat people right, provide professional industry training, and give our team members the backdrop of a strong brand to stand with. RMEC also provides a market-leading benefits package with a 401k plan, health, dental, life, and vision insurance, as well as paid time off. And let's not forget, the top pay in the industry. This is why our MEC is one of the fastest growing companies in Kansas City. The time to join is now. Let's turn your job into your career today. Visit www.r-mech.com to apply or call 816-920-5955 for more information.
Do you love the outdoors? You know, hunting, fishing, and outdoor sports? Do you wish your current job gave you more outdoor time? Would you like something more fulfilling that provides better for you and your family? If so, I have something for you. This is Larry Ryan at 100% employee-owned Ryan Lawn and Tree. We don't offer seasonal jobs. We offer great careers, 12 months a year with full benefits plus ownership. That's why Ryan has such great people. And these great employee owners grow our company, creating new opportunities for you. Of course, a career at Ryan Lawn and Tree isn't for everyone. It's hard work outdoors that demands a hard worker. Someone who takes pride in his or her work. Someone who likes being challenged to be a little better each day. Someone who also likes the idea of being paid to stay in great shape and owning a piece of the company. If this sounds like you, apply online at ryanlawn.com. You have big goals. This is a big opportunity. Apply today at ryanlawn.com.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House has served generations for birthdays, anniversaries, and Easter. This year, Chef has put together an Easter brunch with all the goodies. This special meal features Hereford House's signature prime rib, ham steak with honey orange glaze, cinnamon rolls, their famous house-made carrot cake, and many other options. Not ready to go out? Pre-order a prime rib dinner with your choice of 3 sides. Reservations are limited, so call or click to make yours today.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports
Some of you guys suck.
with Joshua Brisco
I love most of you.
on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Facebook comment from who was the name of this new comment here, Rudy?
The new one, Jordan, yes.
Jordan says, you guys are clowns. Did you even watch the divisional game? Clearly, Chad Henne can do anything that Mahomes can do. Thank you, Jordan, for having the world's only good Facebook comment.
I just came up with a shirt idea.
I'm not a clown, though. I am a real person who is good at radio and has watched football, played football, and should be respected for my serious opinions, serious takes, and good analysis.
Mm-hmm. I know this is totally original. Nobody's ever thought of this before, but we should make a T-shirt with your face on it with a clown nose. It just says clown.
That's
nothing like the Roger Goodell shirt. Obviously, this is a totally original thing that I just came up with. But,
totally original idea.
But I think we should sell those.
The exciting thing now, listen,
Allie, if you're listening,
I've mentioned many times that this show I think is at its best whenever we're really focusing a lot of our energy on doing visual jokes in audio medium.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never been more true than it is right now. But also, I've been thinking for a while about what it's going to take to get myself a new Twitter avatar. I just feel like it's kind of been time for something new. And who left the first comment calling us clowns?
It was Johnny Green.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny, for, I believe, helping me finally find my true calling. Go ahead and tweet that out, Beards, for the...
I was going to.
For the podcast audience or for anybody who, just may not be able to watch right now, you can go at Beards McFly on Twitter. I'll retweet it. Just get my good side is all I ask.
You have one of those?
I got several of those.
Every side's the good side.
That's right. Thank you, Rudy. Does it smell funny out here to anybody?
Smelling adhesive of any sort?
No, I think it's it's something vaguely sort of like synthetic. It's kind of upsetting in some way. Anyway, please take me seriously. It is so important to me. I wonder if my phone will. It's not recognizing my face, which is pretty. Come on, Face ID.
It's weird.
You
think it would recognize you?
I'm not gonna do it. It's just so important that guy takes me seriously. You can see a not very good picture from Beards on his Twitter account right now.
I think it's pretty good.
I just dropped my phone on myself because I'm honestly afraid to move too much.
Something a clown would do.
No, I'm a serious.
Was that for a bit?
I'm a serious football boy. who should be respected and taken seriously. Anyway.
Anywho.
I do love Drew Brees, and I hope that we have enough time to acknowledge that fact.
How many whips do you think he has?
Drew Brees or the Facebook commenter?
Both.
0. I think I'm going to just now see how long this can... I'm going to continue doing the show now and stop doing the bit that I mean, not really stop doing the bit that I'm doing, but just sort of evolve into... Yeah, that's right. I really think this could be my new LinkedIn headshot, which I think is important.
Super important.
So, listen. Also, Byron Pringle, Connor Christopherson, friend of the show, points this out. Byron Pringle is 27 years old, has 330 career receiving yards, and was not started over Demarcus Robinson at the X-wide receiver position when Watkins was injured last year. He says, cool the Jets, everyone. Could everyone please just calm down like 46% more? I'm just so curious as to what we said that made that one man so angry that he had to leave a mean comment and then disappear into the shadows.
Also, R.I.P. Taco Fall. Giannis oof.
You can't
say Giannis just.
You can't say stuff like that right now. There are a lot of people just sort of dying left and right. You can't say R.I.P. comedically. I got nervous.
Giannis just murdered Taco Fall in a basketball game.
Well, listen, give the Celtics 4 or 5 more years and 10 or 12 more draft picks, and they'll be back in the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe. Anywho. I wonder if this would be good for, like, snoring. Or, like, my allergies, where I'm not breathing in as much pollen. I've got, like, a filter.
Something tells me it's still gonna find its way in.
That's probably true.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, here's the thing. I've never went a whole day with a cover over my nose. So, honestly, what the bleep do I know? I didn't play football.
And Rudy, that's such a good point. You didn't play football, therefore your opinion is worthless. Rudy, you know what? Beers and Rudy, I know we got Verderame in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. We probably need to take another break so we can talk about some stuff next segment and everything, kind of land the ship and get all of our stuff back together. But could you guys carry the rest of the segment? I'm going to go... You guys talk a little bit.
I'd love to, but didn't play football.
So. We're going to have to do this in shifts. But if you guys could just carry the next couple minutes of showtime, then you guys can throw it to break and everything. I'm just going to go outside. I'm just going to put my hand in the dirt for a little while. Just get the feel of my hand in the dirt for the first time.
Yeah.
And maybe whenever I come back in, I'll be illuminated in some way. Does that work for you? Can you guys do that?
I mean, I just feel like if you're not playing, I feel like you're trying to emulate something you just can't, because like here's the thing, like you can go through the motions, but until you're out there in the middle of you're in between those painted lines in the middle of a game, and you got somebody just really coming at you, and you're really coming back at them, and
it's a great point. Could you maybe we do this instead, Rudy? Maybe you come over here and you just smack me in the mouth. You got it, because they say everybody's got to play until you get smacked in the mouth.
It's true. That it's a great point. It's a start. It's at the very least a start.
Are you offering? I've got an or somewhere.
Or what?
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Update your home's exterior with new siding and get 11% off everything at Menards. Timbercrest Premium Double 4-inch Vinyl Siding is engineered to be durable, 15% thicker, and has the look of natural cedar siding. It has a limited lifetime warranty and is available in 9 colors. $679 per 12.5-foot piece after 11% off. Good through March 27th. Savings or mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey everyone, it's Tim Grunhart. You know I've been around Kansas City since being drafted in 1990, and I knew after the first season that I was here, this was gonna be home. Kansas Cityans embraced me, and I didn't look back. One of the things I love about Kansas City are the great people. People like my friends at Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC of Excelsior Springs. Cars and trucks are very personal to me, so having the best is important. I've been a customer for a few years now, and I couldn't be happier. They're the professionals, they're courteous, and more importantly, they make me feel like family. Roberts Robinson is what Kansas City's all about. Good people working hard to keep us going. Right now, they have their 2020 sell-down event. There's only a few 2020s left at these low prices. Till the end of March, there's 0% financing for up to 72 months on select models. Drive to Excelsior Springs and check out Roberts Robinson, or shop online at robertsrobinson.com. Tell them that Mr. Truck sent you, a.k.a. Grunny.
For the latest on the Kansas City Royals, keep it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's not often that you get a chance to reward and celebrate a player like Salvador Perez.
I'm excited, that we're going to stay here.
To have Salvador Perez behind the plate leading the development and the success of these future pitchers is so important.
Kansas City's home for Major League Baseball. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Warm weather is here. Spring has arrived. It's time to get that lawn back into shape. Do you want the best looking lawn, but you don't want to have any harmful chemicals? Well, then go to GetSunday.com. That's right, GetSunday.com. You go there, you put in your home address, and their free lawn analysis tool takes care of the rest, all in just seconds. Sunday uses soil and climate data to create a tailored nutrient plan, so you get all the stuff your lawn needs and nothing it doesn't. Sunday is made with ingredients that you can actually pronounce, like seaweed, iron, and molasses, so you can grow better and feel better about it. Sunday explains exactly what you need, and everything is waiting right at your door exactly when you need it. All I had to do was attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It's just that easy. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit GetSunday.com/Petro to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at GetSunday.com/Petro. GetSunday.com/Petro.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for Diamonds Direct. Did you know every diamond is unique? No two are the same. Even two diamonds that have the same grade on paper can look totally different in person. And here's another important fact. When buying a diamond, of the 4 C's, the cut is by far the most important one. You want a diamond that is properly cut, or you're going to end up with a dull diamond that just sits there. That's why I love to recommend Diamonds Direct. They don't even stock those B-list diamonds. Only the top cut grades ever make it to the showroom. After all, Diamonds Direct was born in a family of diamond cutters years ago. They know their stuff. They take pride in offering only the best and at the best value price. That's why I go to Diamonds Direct. A mind-blowing selection, up to 30 times ordinary stores. A no-pressure, no-risk environment. A complete objective diamond education. A free lifetime warranty with any purchase. It's a no-brainer, guys. Diamonds Direct is the total package. Luxury and value in one place with superior quality and the lowest prices. Diamonds Direct at 119th and Row, and tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
The motto that I've held very close to my heart is, if you can't do it, don't try.
With Joshua Brisco.
It's got me very far in life.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We'll talk to Matt Verderame in 10 minutes. I don't know his relation to either playing the game of football in high school or whatever, nor his experience in the circus arts, but we'll talk to him next hour regardless. There's a new tweet from me on Twitter that I want everyone to look at, please. It makes me very happy. I feel like we've ended up in a good place here today. One of the things we'll talk to Verderame about is this trade that the Dolphins and Niners and Eagles all pulled off today. Here's the gist of it. I've got a lot of thoughts on something that doesn't really impact the Chiefs, but I just think is kind of interesting. But I'll give you the Cliff's Notes here of this segment. The Dolphins traded the number 3 overall pick to the 49ers for the number 12 overall pick, a 2021 third, and firsts in 2022 and 2023. I'll come back to the Niners' perspective on this in a second. Then the Dolphins traded back up from 3 to 12 to 6 overall with the Philadelphia Eagles, giving up that 12th pick and 123 and a 2021st for number 6 and number 156. The Dolphins essentially moved from 3 to 6 for a first rounder in 2023 and a third, but also that tough kind of 30 or 40 pick swap there at the end. The main thing here is the Dolphins' first move. I was like stoked for them because they got a nice haul to move back from 3 to 12. And if you're not going to take a quarterback, the difference between 3 and 12, and really the difference is you'll hear it from me momentarily about on 6 to 12, I think is relatively limited. I just brought up the Sammy Watkins thing. Even if you want to get to a pass catcher, you do that from 12. You know, there of the 3 or 4 guys that are really top tier, you have a pretty good chance of getting one of them. And then if you don't end up with one of those guys, you're still going to have some pretty darn good options of guys that maybe are more mid-first round picks, late first round picks than early first round picks. But you have an extra first rounder in your future that you can use on anybody else again next year to continue building around, theoretically, Tua. If they wanted a quarterback, well, then that's a different story. But maybe the most directly newsworthy bit is that the Niners gave up a lot to ultimately invest 3 first-round picks because they paid 2 to move up to get that first-round pick, which they're going to spend. 3 first-round picks and a third on what will be the third quarterback drafted in this class.
Presumptuous.
Yes.
You don't think they're going to maybe go with Sewell? Need a left tackle?
No, I don't think anyone in those top 3 picks is going to take anything other than a quarterback.
I don't know. Maybe a left tackle.
Put this clown nose on. But if the Niners are confident, and we really don't know who the Niners are going to end up with, Trevor Lawrence is going 1. Yes. That's absolutely locked in at this point. And it seems pretty clear that Zach Wilson's going to go 2.
Yeah, it feels... it's not a done deal, but it feels pretty good. But it's the Jets, so you just never know.
Right.
The Jets might all of a sudden just be like, yeah, okay, Jamar Chase, let's do this.
It's not as set in stone as Trevor Lawrence going 1
They might go Mac Jones. Hey, come on down.
Well, I think it was Dan Orlovsky had Mac Jones going 3 now.
You love Mac Jones.
I don't know how I feel about that one, but okie doke. Okie doke, alrighty. But it's a lot for the Niners. Also, they need a quarterback. They need to have a young quarterback on a rookie contract that they can try to build around, that Shanahan can build around, all that. I understand that. It's
but
also
what about
a lot.
Jimmy G?
He's still very handsome.
I mean, well, he's the quarterback.
Yeah. Why do you say they need a new quarterback? He's already there.
I mean, here, you can still draft one, but they said today he's the guy.
Yeah.
They're not trading
He's
him.
only 29. He's still young.
I believe you. I've done another visual joke in an audio medium. But I believe you. I think Jimmy Garoppolo will be the Niners starter, not just in week 1, but also over the course of the entire 2021 season. If you're just listening to this show, I have a big pink nose right now.
I wouldn't be, here's the thing, in all seriousness, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if he was, but his time is coming to an end, right? It's like when the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes. We knew Alex Smith's time was coming to an end. I think it's going to be sooner than later because the difference is Andy Reid really, really, really liked Alex Smith, and Kyle Shanahan is really, really, really meh on Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's right.
He benched Jimmy Garoppolo for one of C.J. Beathard or Nick Mullins. I forget who
I think
it was
they might have both ended up getting played at one point, yeah.
I know all 3 played, but there was a game where he was benched specifically for one of those. Not because he was hurt, because he was just straight up playing bad.
I think there's a chance there's a chance that nobody really wants to give up all that much for Jimmy G, and he does end up starting the season.
For sure. Yeah.
I think there's I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, but I think there's a chance of that.
That contract, which I don't know the full layout, I don't know how much is left guaranteed, but with that contract, I could see them being like, hey, the package isn't great. Let's start off with Jimmy G to give our guy time.
I think it's a little more flexible at this point.
I would assume so because it's been 3 years since he signed it, but I just don't know the specifics.
I very much understand why they're doing this. It's just you've got to get it right whenever you're going to put all of those assets out onto the table. Some of the things with the Dolphins I think are really interesting. We'll get to a little more of that with Verderame. For the Eagles, they were apparently, and Rappaport deleted this tweet because he didn't like how he phrased it, I think, ultimately. But they were very interested in getting up to 3 for Zach Wilson, but they did not feel that they could do that confidently because Zach Wilson's probably going 2 to the Jets. And that's bonkers just because the Eagles' quarterback position is not in a great place and hasn't been in a great place and has been just all sorts of hectic, even with all sorts of assets invested into it. Just think that makes it extremely interesting here. We'll talk about all of those things, plus Sammy Watkins going to the Ravens with Matt Verderame of FanSided next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey sports fans, Joni here, and I'm excited to tell you about the newly opened In the Zone Cryo. In the Zone Cryo will help decrease pain and inflammation, accelerate muscle recovery, increase your energy, and boost your immune system. In the Zone Cryo also offers Instasculpt fat reduction, personal training, infrared heat, compression therapy, and more. Mention Sports Radio 810 and receive 10% off your first service. Come see us at College and Metcalf. Call 913-208-4859 or visit inthezonecryo.com. Feel, look, and perform your best with In the Zone Cryo.
During these challenging times, everyone is talking about the Freedom Loan exclusive at A1 Mortgage. After the financial crash of 2008, we knew there had to be a better and smarter way to finance your home. The Freedom Loan. It will take years off your mortgage, saving you thousands in interest. Need cash? No problem. Need a break on payments? No problem. The Freedom Loan may be the last loan you ever need. The managers of A1 Mortgage could have any loan they want, and they chose the Freedom Loan. Why wait? Start saving thousands and getting your freedom back today. Call 816-822-8888. That's 822-8888. Or apply at mya1mortgage.com.
A1 Mortgage, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
A1 Mortgage Group, LLC, a Kansas licensed mortgage company. License number MC0001649, Missouri license number 16-1556, NMLS number 268370. Terms and conditions apply, subject to change without notice.
When you're thinking about New Orleans, why not let jazz cook for you?
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. COVID still got you down? No worries. We're open. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Everybody is safe. Tired of your mama's cooking? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through Menufy. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz, with a Dixieland band and a sultry day and everybody.
Yes, if you're dreaming about New Orleans, let jazz do your cooking up for you.
Jazz, where there's always a party every night.
Don't miss a minute of the madness. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Tip controlled by Ards up top. Washington to tie. All fire miss. Rebound Liddell. And Oral Roberts does it.
2018's Cinderella just got a repeat invite to the Sweet 16. The Loyola Chicago Ramblers have upset the #1 seed Illinois.
Your home for March Madness. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kansas City's favorite sports station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kansas City.
I'm John Ryder. The Dolphins make 2 separate trades to shake up the NFL draft. Miami deals the 3rd overall pick to the 49ers for the number 12 pick, which the Dolphins then deal to the Eagles. And as a result of this, Miami gets the 6th overall pick and multiple draft picks, including 2 future first-rounders. ESPN's Adam Schefter on where this leaves the Jets, who currently have the 2nd pick in the first round on April 29th.
First of all, there's a lot of time left between now and then, Max. But obviously teams have convictions because the Dolphins don't move back and back up without having an idea of who they want. And the Eagles don't do what they do without having a conviction of the player they can get. And so there's a lot of different elements at place there. Now, the Jets, yes, if they stay at 2, they're going to take Zach Wilson. That's going to be the pick.
Adam Schefter on the Max Kellerman Show. BYU quarterback Zach Wilson delivered an impressive pro day today in Utah. 31 team reps. Brad Wilson's pro day, the only team without a rep there was the Rams. The Ravens have agreed on a 1-year deal worth $6 million with free agent veteran wideout Sammy Watkins, reports Adam Schefter. As usual, a busy Friday night in the NBA and on ESPN TV and the app right now. Early in the third quarter, the Celtics lead the Bucks 66-57. Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker each with 15 points. Giannis Antetokounmpo has 4 points on just 1 of 7 shooting. The Hornets hammering the Heat 68-40 in the second quarter, and the Blazers lead the Magic 58-45 second quarter.
Coming up Monday, the NBA trade deadline is in the rearview mirror, so we'll tell you who is about to challenge the Nets and the Lakers for the title. Plus, we're running a point. Monday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I'm scrolling through. It's like 6 o'clock Friday night, and I get Daniel Craig, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. And it's like, you know what, Daniel? Damn right.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The only thing better than a Friday leading into the weekend is knowing that Friday also brings Matt Verderame of FanSided, who joins us now. Follow him on Twitter, at Matt Verderame. Check out all of his work on FanSided, the Stacking the Box podcast, Stacking the Box column. Listen, just follow him on Twitter, at Matt Verderame, and you'll get everything that Matt does, including all sorts of updates as free agency continues to unfold. Matt, how have you enjoyed these last couple of weeks of football chaos, including this week, which has been a whole lot quieter, but that doesn't always necessarily mean good things in many situations?
It's fun. It's when I feel like I earned my money, but I'm also really, really ready to go to bed. I'm just worn out. It's been great. It's kind of like a party that you go to.
Yeah.
And you can't wait to get there. And then it's like 10:30 at night. You show up, and it's bumping, and you're having a great time, like your college days. And then like 2:30 rolls around, and you're just like, you know what? It's been fun.
Yep.
It's been fun. I'm gonna go home now. Have a good time. Everybody else, there's just 4 people there who are still, just doing whippets and hanging out. You're like, all right, you let me know how this plays out for you. Good night.
Brett Veach is standing in the corner, just drinking like just a twisted tea, just kind of tapping his foot, looking around.
Liquor.
Yeah, seeing if anybody else is still hanging out. Yeah, that seems right. What time is it right now in this metaphor then in free agency for you? Are you sticking with 2:30? I feel like I might be at a little bit. It's definitely past midnight for sure. I like the kind of 2 a.m. vibe.
I was gonna say, it's probably not quite to that point, but we're approaching 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, to break from the metaphor quickly, the best night back in the old college days were when you turn back the clocks. Because I know where I went to college, they'd shut the bars down at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that was always the time that, if it got to 2, they'd turn them back to 1 o'clock for daylight savings. So you'd be partying, and they'd come over, whatever PA system they had, certain bars back in college. It's 1 o'clock again. Yeah!
That's so good.
Yeah, it was good time. Good time. You paid for it like none other the following day.
Right. But a fallback party, I like that a lot. That's wonderful. I don't know if that's coming for the Chiefs or anywhere in free agency. And also we had a whole bunch of stuff that happened today. But right before the show, Sammy Watkins signed with the Ravens, a 1-year deal worth $6 million. I didn't expect him back in Kansas City. I was starting to second guess that a little bit as the Chiefs continued to not sign any other veteran receivers. But what did you think about the deal the Ravens gave him, his fit there, and then also kind of where that just leaves the Chiefs at this point with Tyreek Hill, Demarcus Robinson, and a can of Pringles?
Can of Pringles. I'm not surprised with Watkins in terms of the deal that he got. He's had so many injuries. If he had gotten more than a year, it would have been stunning. So,
yeah.
1 year, $6 million, yeah, sounds right. Seems right. I think that's about where he should have been. In fact, look, if you look at it from this perspective, Juju Smith-Schuster got 1 year and $8 million.
Yep.
And so Sammy Watkins, 1 and 6, not bad. For the Chiefs, I get it. Like, his legacy with the Chiefs is an odd one because it's impossible to argue that Sammy Watkins in a vacuum was worth 3 years and $48 million.
Right.
Like, there's no way you could argue that contract in the end was worth it on the surface level. But they won a Super Bowl, and I don't know that they win it if he's not on the team. So, to me, that contract's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I get that he missed a ton of time, including the playoffs. He missed 16 games while he was in Kansas City. He had stretches where he was really productive and he was unproductive, but overall, he was a big reason why they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And I think, look, if you're the Chiefs, signing Robinson made sense. He only cost $1.2 million essentially.
Yeah.
Watkins would have cost 5 times that. And Robinson doesn't get hurt. He's never missed a game. So I think it's probably the right move for the Chiefs. If you ask me which one I think you'd rather have going forward, it's probably DeMarcus Robinson just because he's usually healthy.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And for Baltimore, they needed somebody. I mean, we sit here and talk about the Chiefs missing on receivers. At least the Chiefs are Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Right, yeah.
The Ravens are staring down the barrel at Hollywood Brown and basically the two of us.
Right.
So they needed a receiver in the worst way. I don't know that Watkins really fixes their problems, but he's at least a Band-Aid anyway.
Well, and also, there are two things you touched on there that I want to spend just another minute on, because we talked about this at the beginning. I don't really want to get into, not with you, but with anybody, like the whole, was Sammy Watkins worth it thing? Because it just becomes a very, like, unanswerable, vitriolic Twitter conversation. Say that again?
It's about your perspective.
Yeah, and it's also something that's, it's impossible to say, what does this team look like? We do it with Frank Clark even now. I understand the conversation. It's just, I'm burnt out on it, I think. But the other element of it, I mean, you can look at Sammy Watkins' legacy, which is just a degree or two away from the conversation about was the deal worth it. You tweeted out the touchdown from the AFC Championship game. I said this at the beginning of the show. I think I definitely could make the argument. I think I would make the argument that highlight will be the thing from my Chiefs lifetime that I remember maybe most vividly, that made me feel the most or whatever in that moment. Because for whatever reason, WASP is going to be the most iconic. It's going to be the most impactful because it ended up putting a Super Bowl back on the table. But that Sammy Watkins touch on the AFC Championship game was sort of I'm not dreaming. The Chiefs aren't actually going to choke this. They're not going to chief. They're actually going to the Super Bowl. And that's going to be a connection point for him forever, like Damian Williams' touchdown in the Super Bowl is going to be a part of Chiefs history forever. And I do hope that most people take the time to appreciate that, because if you don't, you're watching sports for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, look, taking off the journalist hat, putting on the fan hat for a second, that game, the AFC title game, to me, in a lot of ways, I look back on more than I even look back on the Super Bowl. And I was at the Super Bowl. I covered the Super Bowl. I can tell you in real time, in the stadium, watching Wasp, you knew it was a big play, and you knew that if they came back and won, that play would be looked back on, even before you knew the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
But people forget, even when that happened, I mean, the Chiefs were not playing well. That game was, right after that, Mahomes almost threw a pick, and then threw an incompletion, and it's 3rd and 10, and they got bailed out on a pass interference. I mean, it was a good call. He got mugged in the end zone. But, the Chiefs, I look at the Super Bowl, and I get it. Wasp, you always need kind of a flashpoint, and that's always going to be the play.
Yeah.
But to me, that Super Bowl was about their defense in the fourth quarter. Just throwing up a brick wall over. And when I think of the Super Bowl, I think of Jimmy Garoppolo's pass in the fourth quarter just coming right at me.
Yeah.
And I always remember thinking, this is how this is going to end when the ball is in the air. And then obviously seeing it fall complete. But you're right. I was... I'll just briefly, I was on the phone with my dad, who forced me into being a Chiefs fan as a kid. And I was on the phone with him during the AFC title game toward the end of the game, and he was about a half second ahead of me on the feed. And when Watkins caught that ball, my father, who's not an overly emotional person, just started screaming. I had no idea what happened. And then I saw the play, and I think for most Chiefs fans, that play does mean more in some ways, because most of life is about the journey. It's not about the destination.
Mm-hmm.
And that play was when everybody knew they were going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's a feeling that you'll always remember where you were when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that I agree with that 100%. So having given that, it's I think proper due. I'm curious what you think of sort of where the Chiefs have found themselves there are a lot of places where the roster has real legitimate holes at this point. It doesn't mean they're all going to be there at week 1, but I also think it's really silly to expect 3 or 4 major holes to get filled through the draft with a bunch of rookies. But specifically with the receivers at this point, look, I mean, they've played without Sammy Watkins plenty. Of all the people who have tweeted me about Byron Pringle, the god at this point, the one thing that they're right about, at least, is that they've played without Sammy Watkins plenty. The offense was worse in those instances, but they have done that. Right now, though, with essentially the weakest version of the Chiefs pass catchers that we've seen over the Mahomes era, really, I think I would argue, depending on what version of Hill and Kelsey we get, I suppose. How do you feel about all the pass catchers that they have at this point? Also noting that they went after Juju. They went after Josh Reynolds. I'm sure they were in the conversation for a bunch of those other guys as well.
So I feel like I've spent the last 2 days of my life on Twitter having this conversation. And to throw the journalist hat back on, I look at the Chiefs, and I feel like my job at FanSided is to cover the entire league. Mm-hmm. Certainly, I do that, but I have a special life with the Chiefs because they're the team I grew up caring about, and I still have a personal interest in. So, look, I'll say this. I get it. Like, I get the fan who says, McCole Hardman's not developed the way we hoped he would. DeMarcus Robinson is just fine, but he's not a guy who you're like, man, I really want to target him on 3rd and 7 in a huge spot. Mm-hmm. Like, I get all that. My counter to that is, sure, but you have 2 Hall of Fame targets to lead off the offense. Mm-hmm. Like, so if your 3rd target is McCole Hardman, who cares? Mm-hmm. They played without Sammy Watkins last year in the AFC playoffs, and they utterly destroyed who I think going into this coming year are the 2 best teams in the AFC other than Kansas City. Destroyed them. I mean, Cleveland only got back in that game because Mahomes got hurt. Before he got hurt, that game was an absolute massacre. And Buffalo, they could not stop Kelsey or held that entire game. Mahomes was playing on 1 foot, and it didn't matter. The Chiefs just took them apart at the joints for 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. Now, I also think this, talking to people around the league, including some people around the Chiefs, they love the wide receiver draft class. That doesn't mean the Chiefs didn't want a veteran receiver because they know they need a veteran receiver. That's why they went after some of these other guys. Mm-hmm. But there's a belief that, hey, you know what, we could get a starter in the 2nd round as a receiver. And I think they can. Like, if you drafted another guy who's Hardman, but maybe 25% better, that's fine. Yeah. Like, I don't know that you need more than that. But they have holes. I guess I just look at them a little differently. I actually think right now their biggest thing is they got to find an edge rusher.
Yeah.
And Melvin Ingram, talking to sources close to the Chiefs, that visit went well. They brought him in, not expecting to get the deal done that day. He has a lot of suitors. He's still looking, per my understanding, for a multi-year deal of significant worth. The Chiefs basically said, look, we want to bring him in, talk to him, do the medicals, see how it goes. I'm told it went very well. They're in the mix for him. But, you know, I think that's more important because if they find an edge rusher, what are their massive holes going into the draft? Okay, obviously, left tackle is the big gaping. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
But I'll flip this to you. If they get a left tackle who is league average, who is better than them?
I think the only other position I would add there is that there's literally just not a center on the roster right now. And if Austin Ryder ends up back, then I'm not stressing about that either. And I think you're right. Specifically also with the receiver thing. The thing that I find curious is that they've shown that they do value a better upgrade at that spot because of, you know, pursuing the veterans and for paying Watkins what they did. Sure. But I think it's also an incredibly valid thing to bring up that, like, the pass catchers with Mahomes as is, I think that functions. What I fear would keep it from functioning is if there's not a tackle or a starting caliber center on the offensive line, because we kind of saw that go that way in the Super Bowl. But I still don't think they're going to let that happen, and then I think that they're going to be favored in the AFC, and I think they should be.
And I'll add this: look, talking to people in the league, it's almost seen as comical. What are the Chiefs going to do at receiver? Mm-hmm. Like, can you imagine being Baltimore and listening to the Chiefs fan have this conversation? Well, I don't know what they're going to do behind Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Niners were a dynastic team in the 90s. Who was their 3rd weapon behind Jerry Rice and John Taylor? Mike Sherrard.
That's comedically, that name is perfect, even if there's a better answer. It's very good.
I know they had Brent Jones at tight end. But my point is, it wasn't like they were sitting there going, man, I just don't know what we're going to do.
Right.
If most teams in the league, if their third weapon was Nicole Hardman, and they also had DeMarcus Robinson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I actually think is a wild card and all this, they drafted him not because he can run the ball well, but because of how well he can run routes and catch the ball. And we did not see enough of that last year.
Yep.
That has to happen more this year. Like, that needs to be a much bigger part of the offense. But I look at the rest of the AFC because to me, you want to criticize Kansas City's offseason? Fine. I'm not going to argue that. Look at the rest of the conference. Buffalo's the exact same team. Baltimore lost both edge rushers and didn't replace them. Tennessee lost a million guys. Indianapolis, if you love Carson Wentz, then Indianapolis is interesting. If you don't love Carson Wentz, then I don't know what you think of Indianapolis. And Pittsburgh lost a truckload of talent.
Yeah.
And so I think if you look at the Chiefs, the big question I have is left tackle. And I'm of the opinion and the understanding that Alejandro Villanueva and Russell Okung, while most Chiefs fans think one of them is going to end up in Kansas City, I don't know if it's going to be the case. Okung has a major injury history. And Villanueva, a lot of people in the league think fell off pretty steeply last year on tape.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll put this out there. I would not be surprised at all if the Chiefs starting left tackle in November next year is Eric Fisher. And that doesn't preclude them drafting somebody, by the way. I think they're definitely going to draft somebody. But I would not be shocked if the Chiefs take a look at Eric Fisher come August when he's cleared to do activities, and they say, hey, Eric, how about 1 year and, I don't know, $7 million?
Yeah.
And bring him back. And you know what? If the rookie left tackle is playing great, then that's fine. And you've got Eric Fisher there in case you need him. And if rookie's struggling, then Eric Fisher's there for when it matters.
So this is very much like a procedural question, I think. I know that you'll have a better idea of this than I would. Why if Eric Fisher is maybe even the most likely of the veteran guys to end up starting in November, like you said, what is the advantage to cutting him and then letting him out on the market and then maybe circling back in August or whatever, as opposed to trying to work out some sort of restructure ahead of time? Because I understand that maybe if you do draft the left tackle and he ends up playing well, that you don't ever call Eric Fisher, I guess. Maybe that's the advantage. But it would also provide at least a little bit of certainty, even though they're going to have to start the season with somebody at left tackle.
I think it's a few things. I think A, it's what you just said, which is where if they get a left tackle who's playing really well, then it's like, okay, look, we're in pretty good shape there. But B, I think to put it bluntly, I think it's a little bit of a scramble drill. They went after Trent Williams really hard. Now, by the way, after today's event, you know why the Niners went after him really hard.
Yep.
And I think so. Kansas City, I think that the idea was, and this is an educated guess, but a little bit of a guess nonetheless. I think their idea was, we're going to go after Trent Williams really hard. If it doesn't work, okay, we'll draft somebody. I know for a fact the Chiefs think very highly of this offensive line class. I think they're very high on these kids. There's a ton of them coming out. I think their thought process is, look, we feel good at 31. If we got to move up, we always can. They have 8 picks this year. And so we can maneuver a little bit. And then, look, again, Villanueva and Okung, my understanding is that's kind of a break glass in case of emergency. If Kansas City signs one of those two guys, my understanding is that would imply that it's now becoming a dire situation. But I expect them to go into the draft a left tackle at 31. I know they'll sit there and say it's best player available, but come on now. They need a left tackle. And then I think you get into August, and if Eric Fisher's high, I think that, his first call and their first call will be to each other.
Yeah.
And, the other side of that, too, is, and I don't know where this one stands as much, but Mitchell Schwartz, it's uncertain if he's going to ever play again. My understanding, talking to a few people about this, is that it's more likely than not that he retires, but it's certainly not a given.
Yeah.
If he plays again, he's been public about the fact he's making his home permanently in Kansas City.
Right.
He would, from what I'm told, that would be, the dream center for him would be to go back there. Now, I don't know, with Niang and Remmers or anything else, would that even fit? If you're the Chiefs, do you let Niang and Remmers stop you from bringing back Mitchell Schwartz? I don't think so. I mean, if he's healthy and ready to go in August, just, hey, what do you guys think? One more year? I mean, if you're the Chiefs, you're going to go, no, we have Mike Remmers.
Right, right.
I mean, that seems short-sighted. So,
Yeah.
I also think those things are out there because I don't know that either one of those guys, even as far as the player, are they going to get signed in April? Like, I think teams are going to want to see them if they're healthy.
Yeah, I think that's a good
and
point.
that's a ways off. Like, that's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. This is on the offensive line, but not the tackle position. Do you right now? If you had to put the money on it, who is playing center for the Chiefs in 2021?
Austin Ryder. I know that the Chiefs, as of a couple of days ago, when I last checked on this, I know they had an offer out to him, and he was considering that offer. Now, where that stands today, I'd be lying saying that I think I checked in on Wednesday, I believe. So, what has changed since then? I don't know. If anything's changed, if nothing's changed, I would be surprised if he's not the starting center. I just think in the end, if you're him, like if you look at them last year, and I don't profess to be the guy who sits there and grinds tape all day because I don't have enough time. I'd need 30 hours in a day. But you watch the Chiefs last year. Their problems were the guards.
Yeah.
Like everybody freaks out about the whole offensive line. Their tackles were not the problem until the Super Bowl. Their problems were the guards, and that's nothing against Nick Allegretti or Andrew Wiley. They did the best they could, but they were overmatched at times. If you put Reader between Kyle Long or LDT and Tooney, that's a much different situation.
Yep.
So I even the Chiefs. You're like, look, if we bring back Reader on the cheap, that's fine. And we got a competition on right tackle we feel good about. And then a left tackle, it's a rookie. Maybe it's Eric Fisher. Maybe it ends up being a Villanueva or Okung if they kind of double back. I get it's not ideal. You don't have the Great Wall of Dallas. But if you're the Chiefs, you're also not worried Mahomes is going to be running for his life either. Like, they won a Super Bowl in a year where for half the year, Cam Irving was the left tackle.
It's true. Yeah.
Keep it in mind.
Yeah, good point. You mentioned the edge thing with Melvin Ingram because if I was doing another radio show today, and they asked, it was our friend Nick Short, just for everybody else. I was not doing Nick Short's show this afternoon. And he asked, what has this offseason changed about what you expect in the draft? I thought it was a fun question because the answer was, I now expect them to draft offensive line more highly, more often. And before they cut Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, just kind of taking Brett Veach at face value like an idiot, I guess, saying those guys are going to get healthy, I was ready to put money on the Chiefs taking an edge at 31 because they've been investing in the edge position, for under Veach, under Dorsey. They're doing it for Spags. Like, this is a team that very much values its edges in a big way. And not only has their number one spot been underwhelming for the cost of it, I feel confident saying Frank Clark, but also that secondary spot has just not been very good over these last couple of years. Alex Okafor's had injury issues. Tano Passanio really underperformed. So you also still think at this point, you think the Chiefs would be in on Melvin Ingram even if he does hold out for a multi-year deal that is substantial, as you said earlier?
I think right now, I'll put it this way. My understanding of that is, for right now, Melvin Ingram's weighing a lot of options. There's a thought that maybe some teams out there, will continue to sign extensions with players they already have, restructure some things. That could open up more space potentially for him to get even a few more offers. He's coming off a year where he played 7 games and had no sacks.
Yep.
But his tape showed a guy, from all accounts, it was pretty good. I mean, it was certainly not to his standard. But he's 31 years old, and each of the 3 seasons before that was in the Pro Bowl. Edge rushers retain their value in the NFL, and it's not a great class in the draft for edge rushers. So I think his thought process is, hey, look, I could still get us a multi-year deal. Now, are the Chiefs going to just walk away? I don't know that that's the case. I don't think the Chiefs are going to go give him a massive contract. That I would be surprised. But could I see the Chiefs going, 2-20? I could see the Chiefs doing something like that. The other guy that's out there, is Justin Houston an option? Like, I know that sounds weird. I don't know. That one, I genuinely don't know. I have not gotten an answer on that. Is he an option? He would be a good fit in a lot of ways. Would they bring him back? I don't know. But
the Justin,
not talking about Ingram.
The Justin Houston thing is just funny to me because, with the exception of Marcus Peters, I have never heard. Marcus Peters is the only guy out of Kansas City that I have heard more people try to tell me that there was something else going on there that impacted their ultimate decision-making processes. It's Marcus Peters 1, Justin Houston 2. Those are the two guys. And the idea of either of them ever ending up back in Kansas City is just, it would make a lot of sense on the field. I don't know enough specifics to make a judgment beyond that, but it comes up every single time that Justin Houston's name comes up.
No, listen, you're not wrong. But sometimes necessity makes for strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
And I can see the Chiefs sitting there going, you know what? Probably give us 10 sacks.
Yep.
Plays a good edge. Like,
Yep.
I agree with you. There's certainly, the history there. Now, I'll say this. I think he'd be a lot more likely to come back than Steven Nelson.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Good call.
But there was not a bridge that wasn't burned on the way out of town. I mean, Steven, those bridges are still on fire.
Yeah.
Okay? Where Justin Houston never said a bad word about Kansas City on the way out of town.
That's true. You're right.
Like that, and that stuff does matter.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff, people remember that stuff. Not just fans either. But that stuff matters. It was a very professional, okay, hey, we're going to part ways here. Even when he came back the next year and they beat the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, there was no extracurricular stuff. He was, God knows I'm sure it meant a lot to him, but it was not crazy. So, look, I don't know, but I think the Chiefs, if they do nothing else over the next month, I do think that finding an edge rusher matters, and then the rest of their money. Look, the one thing people shouldn't forget, this cap space that they have, I get it. A lot of people say, hey, it's burned a hole in their pocket. They can roll it over.
Yeah.
And that's going to matter next year, in a year where these contracts with some of their star players continue to get bigger. They're going to be able to roll over a lot of money, and that is going to help them to continue to be aggressive in free agency. That plus the cap exploding is going to put them in a nice position. So I think for the Chiefs, that is something to keep in mind. You look at your cap space and say, look, we're not just going to spend it, because we can weaponize it next year if we need to. And if you're the Chiefs, every dollar counts when you're trying to build a title team. This is not a franchise. I had somebody say to me the other day on Twitter, well, I just accepted this as a rebuilding year. Right? A rebuilding year. If you took their odds in Vegas to win the AFC right now, and you made them twice as bad, if you doubled the number, they're still the favorite. Like that, I think sometimes that gets lost because they didn't get Trent Williams. They're an overwhelming favorite to go back to the Super Bowl. I mean, they will. Maybe they won't do it. But I got to tell you, there's no team in the league that's looking at the Chiefs and going, you know what? We feel better about our situation. Including Tampa. As great as Tampa's done, they rolled it all back into the same team. The quarterback's like 58 years older than Mahomes is. Like, I don't care what anybody says. You'd much rather have Kansas City. So it is interesting. It is. It's been a weird off-season, but, we still have plenty of it left ahead of us.
Our friend Nate Taylor has coined the phrase, at some point last year, the Tuscaloosa Chiefs fan. That if this is a rebuilding year, this is an Alabama rebuilding year, and we are deeply into Tuscaloosa, if you will. I wanted to ask you about this. I figured we'd spend more time here, but we got a lot of Chiefs stuff out, so I'm feeling good about that. But if you can give me the Cliff's Notes version on how you felt about all of the various trades today between the Dolphins, Niners, and Eagles. The Eagles seem to have the least interesting part of it, even though they were apparently interested in moving up for a quarterback, but it sounds like that quarterback's going to go number 2, apparently. What did you make of that sort of the trio of teams and the duo of duels? All right,
this is going to be my entire column on Monday. I actually just wrote it, but I'll give the bullet points quick. So, A, the Niners will take the quarterback at 3. If anything else comes up, they might be considered. No. It's quarterback.
Yeah.
Who it is, who knows, but it's quarterback. Then you get into Ian Rappaport tweeting out that, the Eagles were going to move up for Zach Wilson, but they couldn't get him, and then he immediately deleted it.
Yes.
And if you work in the business, you understand what essentially happened there was either the Eagles and the Jets are like, Ian, no. And so that went by the boards immediately.
Yep.
And then, Adam Schefter, John, I'm sure he was tweeting out essentially the Niners are not going to be trading Garoppolo Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see about that. If they get a good offer, he'll be on the next plane out of town. I think that's the obvious way this goes. Like if New England calls him up and is like, "Here's the number 1 pick," you're going to tell me they're going to decline that?
Right.
I don't think so. Look, the Niners are going to have a new quarterback. The Eagles now, if Wentz is good, are going to have 3 first-round picks next year. The Dolphins have 5 first-round picks over the next 3 years, which to me, by the way, and then I'm done with this, but it gives you the most obvious thing with the Dolphins is if Tua's good, they have a ton of ammunition to build around him.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not good, they can go get another quarterback. They can go get Deshaun Watson. They got a whole host of options now. So they're in great shape, and I'm just going to have the quarterback.
You mentioned Deshaun Watson. We will put a pin in that and hopefully be able to come back to that at some point this offseason.
Yeah.
But every time his name almost comes up, I'm reminded of, we haven't really talked about all of that yet. And then I think, we'll do it later. And then something more fun and less horrifying comes up, and I get distracted by that instead. Nat, thank you as always. I will let you go so you can go just into your cocoon or whatever it is. It's going to get you through this party at 2:30 in the morning. Hopefully no news will break while you're asleep, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Matt Verderame of FanSided. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. Read his work up on FanSided. He gave us the bullet points of his column coming on Monday. The least you could do is also read that whenever it comes out. But as good as it gets in the NFL world, there are a couple of things he said there that I want to dig in on a little bit whenever we come back. Some stuff that I'm excited about, some stuff that I'm not as excited about, some interesting things on Melvin Ingram and Eric Fisher. We'll talk about some of that whenever we come back.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Byron Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Victory Ford is dedicated to one thing, serving you. Our staff are experts in providing you the knowledge needed to make the right decision on your next car or truck. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a 5-star service center with the highest rated technicians and amenities. Visit us at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Springtime is filled with special moments. Shane Company has a wonderful selection of fine jewelry to commemorate any occasion. A graduation, first communion, Easter, a new baby, or just to show your love. We have cross necklaces in a range of styles, from simple and understated to more decorative crosses, accented with diamonds, rubies, or sapphires. Pearls are also a classic gift. We have bracelets, necklaces, earrings, and rings made with lustrous cultured pearls in all their natural colors. At Shane Company, we're known for our vibrant sapphires, with over a dozen colors to choose from. How about a pendant necklace with a sapphire in a beautiful spring color, like lavender, peach, or any shade of blue? When you order online, we make it easy to send gifts with fast and free shipping. Your gift will be treasured for a lifetime and will let your loved ones know they're always in your heart.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for my main man, Ed Baldwin, with Community Mortgage. Interest rates are at historic lows. What are you waiting for? You can use the equity in your home to take cash out for a remodel or to pay off high-interest credit card debt. You could also get rid of that dreaded private mortgage insurance. Ed gets calls all the time from people who started off using online and national lenders, and he bails them out with a loan that will close on time and with better rates and lower costs. Don't contact a mortgage inside sales call center where they'll give you a number and send you down the line. Call Ed and work with a professional. There are mortgage companies, and then there's Ed Baldwin. You call and you speak to Ed, 913-825-1999. For all your refinance or home purchase needs, call Ed Baldwin for rates in the twos at 913-825-1999. That's 913-825-1999, or apply online at edbaldwinhomeloans.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, Kansas Licensed Mortgage Company, NMLS number 224143, APRs in the 3s. You can keep your grass green and lush all year long with a new sprinkler system from Summit Lawn and Landscape. Call Summit Lawn and Landscape today at 816-966-9434 to design a water-efficient system for your home and never drag a hose again. 816-966-9434. Summit Lawn and Landscape provides complete lawn maintenance, including mowing, fertilization, and landscape installation, maintenance, and design. Call 816-966-9434 or go to summitlawn.com.
Bill was tired of saying no to his kids because of his debilitating pain.
I have 3 kids that are 13 and under. Every day they're asking, Dad, can we take a bike ride? Dad, can we play ping pong? Unfortunately, in the past, I had to sadly say no quite often.
An accident left Bill with aching knees and shoulders. Even after 4 knee surgeries, Bill still felt constant pain in his knees. And then he discovered QC Kinetics and their regenerative cell therapies.
I did it on the knee. It really became life-changing. I've had the same results with the shoulder.
QC Kinetics non-invasive regenerative cell treatments help restore damaged tissue and provide amazing relief for knees, hips, shoulders, and backs. Right there in the office, no downtime. Bill's able to say yes to just about anything these days.
Like taking my kids to Disney World and walking 10 miles a day at Disney, bike riding, taking a walk on the beach.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. Off 435 and State Line. 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics. 816-412-6299.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
I've called an audible. I'm saving my bathroom trip for the end of the show. So again.
Hut! With Joshua Brisco.
Omaha!
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Before we get back into the football stuff, there's a tweet that I just saw during one of the breaks that I left in another tab just so I can read this because I think it's very funny. The text with this screenshot is, did a rooster write this? That's your context.
Yes.
Did a rooster write this? And it is what pops up if you Google, what do roosters do?
Right.
It says, the roosters may break up hen fights, find and give treats to the hens, encourage the egg laying, and even monitor the nest boxes. Roosters are beautiful. Roosters are classic farmyard icons, and they are gorgeous to look at in many cases. Roosters have a lot of personality. And I just love the idea of a rooster pecking each letter one at a time, trying to get some pro-rooster propaganda out there on the internet. I just think that's wonderful.
We need more pro-rooster propaganda, I think.
We sure cock-a-doodle-doo.
They're nature's alarm clock.
This effing guy. I almost cursed at Rudy. I'm so mad that he talked over my joke. Didn't even hear it.
You said cock-a-doodle-doo.
We sure cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah, I heard.
Nobody else did.
I heard.
I think everybody heard.
I just didn't laugh.
Because of the crosstalk.
No.
Somewhere in our 3rd or 4th year of doing this show, we'll get our timing down.
Never.
I mean, I don't actually
I don't
expect
think that'll happen.
I just feel like eventually
I don't think
we'll.
that'll happen, Josh.
I just like to think that someday we're going to eventually get to a point where maybe we're going to be able to be better at it and we're not going to talk over each other as much.
It's not going to happen.
Or what?
The show's been going on for what, 3 years?
Can I read you another headline?
Oh, sure.
From the Fort Worth Star-Telegram?
Yeah. You want to read the internet?
No, just the headline for now.
Oh.
Well, yeah, let me read you the headline, then you decide if I'm going to read the internet or not.
Okay.
Because I do want to talk about Melvin Ingram and Eric Fisher. I think Verderame gave us 2 really good little, well, in Rudy's terms, 2 good nuggets there.
Never heard of them.
Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Pastor's wife planned husband's killing with man they had sex with, Oklahoma cops say.
Is this a Jack Easterby story?
And now, Josh reads the internet.
I did read this during the Matt Verderame interview.
You read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, of course. You think he's listening to the show?
So here, the issue here is that Bomani Jones said there was more to this story.
That's where I saw it from.
Beyond this. Did you find what was beyond this story?
I don't think so.
It said there was something about also clicking on the wife's name. I don't know. Do I need to read this whole story?
Maybe.
Christy Evans called 911 after her husband was shot to death in their bed in the middle of the night. So he did die. Okay, well, this dark already. This is Beard. If anybody is mad, this is Beard's fault.
Yep.
The 47-year-old pastor's wife said she awoke to a pop and smelled smoke. Is that how guns work? Before seeing her husband, David Evans, bleeding from his nose and mouth and a hole in his head, police say.
You do smell smoke after guns are shut off.
Before the other stuff that happened there?
Okay, sorry. Maybe I missed that part. Sorry, reset. And I
She
guess it's not
smelled
smoke. It's,
before
it's gunpowder.
seeing-
You're not really
yeah.
smelling smoke.
Smoke-
It's gunpowder. But
smoke
there's some smoke there.
Evans told investigators her husband was making a gasping noise as she went outside to see if anyone was leaving their home early Monday, according to court documents. The killing shocked Harmony Free Will Baptist Church, where David Evans, 50, was a pastor, KXII reported. The church organized a meal train for the pastor's family, the news outlet reported. He was such a loved pastor, he had a lot to give still, a church member told KXII. So that's going to be missed in the future, the things he could have done for other people. In the days following his death, a different story emerged than the one initially told by the pastor's wife. 5 days before the shooting, a neighbor recalled seeing a white Ford Mustang parked at Evans' home, and surveillance video the night of the shooting captured a similar vehicle slowly driving in front of the residence, according to court documents. During an interview at her husband's church, Christy Evans said the car belonged to a man she knew only as Khalil. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation later identified him as 26-year-old Khalil Demi Square. Evans told investigators she, her husband, and Square had met at a Super 8 hotel several months earlier, where the three had sex multiple times, according to court documents. One time, Evans said she secretly dropped her phone number on the floor for Khalil, and they continued communicating without her husband's knowledge, according to court documents. The week before his death, David Evans went on a mission trip to Mexico. While her husband was out of town, Christy Evans invited Square to stay 3 nights. What did they do? No one knows.
Checkers?
They also plotted to kill the pastor, police say.
And checkers.
During an interview Wednesday, Evans told investigators she asked Square to kill her husband, according to court documents.
After they were done playing checkers.
Evans said she gave bullets and a gun, which her husband had acquired from a church member in a trade the month before, to Square, and left the back door unlocked for him to sneak inside, police say. You've got to rephrase that paragraph. There's got to be an editor that says, hey, we got to rework this graph.
Does there?
When she heard Square in the house, Evans said she went to the dining room and saw him crouched down, according to court documents. Christie urged him to proceed with the plan, the documents say. As Square entered the bedroom, Evans said she went to the living room and turned away, police say. Then she heard a pop and Square ran out of the house, according to court documents. Then there are some macabre details. Evans was taken into custody. Square was arrested Friday. I gotta say, Beards, I think if I would have read this whole story ahead of time, I would not have hit the music. Oh, we have breaking. Go ahead. Breaking news.
Veteran quarterback Chase Daniel signing a 1-year deal with the Chargers. $1.5 million in guarantees remaining from the deal has $1.5 million in guarantees remaining from his contract with the Lions. Daniel reunites with his former coaches Brandon Staley and Joe Lombardi and will mentor rookie of the year Justin Herbert. I'm assuming Schefter ran out of characters there because it's just rookie - year. I assume he just ran out of characters. Chase Daniel. Just keeping it going. Good for him.
I understand Bomani's tweet now also.
Chase better watch out, though. Don't let a team doctor with the needle get near your lungs, man. Just say no. Just be like, I'm good.
Avoid the team doctor and the pastor's wife.
Always. And the pastor if it's Jack Easterby, but, that's a whole other story.
Currently no indication that Jack Easterby was involved in this murder plot.
Here's the thing. He's always involved. Whether you know it or not, he's involved. Everything. The ship that's stuck in the canal, Jack Easterby. It's all Jack Easterby. He's just running this world.
I don't really believe in the idea of the Illuminati being a secret society controlling everything, pulling every string, but I do believe basically the same thing on behalf of Jack Easterby.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. I do believe that. I don't really think. I think Jay-Z and Beyonce have all of the power that incredible wealth provides them, but I don't think that there's necessarily a satanic cult behind them running all of the whole thing. And you cover your eye and Larry Johnson tweets about you. I don't buy that aspect of it, except for that I do believe that Jack Easterby basically has that.
I also now want to bring up something, and I was listening to ESPN Daily, and I don't know if you heard this, but the lawyer that is representing obviously the women against Deshaun Watson.
Oh man,
he had this comment, and again,
we're gonna have to be able to talk about this story better at some point.
Basically, he obviously he was coming out and saying that, hey, for anybody who thinks this is like some ploy, right, to set up Deshaun Watson, it's not. Sure, yes, I live on the same street as Cal McNair, but I do not know who Cal McNair is. I could not. And the thing that made me laugh was like, hey man, I do not think you're actually here to set up Deshaun Watson. But if you live on the same street as Cal McNair, you can say, hey, yeah, I know who he is. You don't have to be like, I have no idea what he looks like.
What are the Houston
You clearly
Texans?
know who he looks like.
I don't know what football is.
What are we doing?
I think I might recognize Cal McNair
Right?
at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do, but.
But you also don't live on the same street as him, Beards.
And listen, you also thought
know that.
you also thought that Virginia was going to make the Final Four. So what do you know?
No, I didn't.
I know. I just couldn't remember what your Final Four team's at. I couldn't remember your most embarrassing Final Four pick, so I went with Virginia.
Probably Villanova or Texas.
Villanova's still
the one team
alive!
in.
I know. But
yeah, it's
Texas. It's
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
No, it is Texas.
Yeah.
Texas,
Shaka
absolutely.
Smart to Marquette, huh?
Shaka never won a NCAA tournament game at Texas.
You know what that is?
Shocking.
A big surprise.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Spring is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. Call today at 913-359-8627. 913-359-8627.
At Genesis Health Clubs, join for $10 and save $10 a month with no contract when you join this month. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com right now to claim a free pass to try it for yourself. No commitment, save big, and join for just $10 while the offer lasts. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com or your nearest club to get your month-to-month membership and join for only $10 plus save $10 a month. Hurry, there are only a few days left. Genesis has never done an offer like this before. Find out more at GenesisHealthClubs.com.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for NJ Diet. Are you still holding on to those winter pandemic pounds? Be slimmer before summer, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. And if you don't want to do it alone, who does? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You'll be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you're burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet is all natural, no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. Located close by in Overland Park, or you can watch live online video consultations from home. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
Aristocrat Motors Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned vehicles, arduous inspections, impeccable history. From Kansas City's leading luxury automotive dealer. In March, you'll not only receive the unlimited confidence warranty that is a Mercedes-Benz exclusive, you can also receive 0% financing and a first payment credit up to $799. Aristocrat Motors, I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or online at aristocratmotors.com.
0% with approved credit for 36 months and payment credit on select models ends March 31, 21.
Warm weather is here. Spring has arrived. It's time to get that lawn back into shape. Do you want the best-looking lawn, but you don't want to have any harmful chemicals? Well, then go to GetSunday.com. That's right, GetSunday.com. You go there, you put in your home address, and their free lawn analysis tool takes care of the rest, all in just seconds. Sunday uses soil and climate data to create a tailored nutrient plan. So you get all the stuff your lawn needs and nothing it doesn't.
Sunday is made with ingredients that you can actually pronounce, like seaweed, iron, and molasses, so you can grow better and feel better about it. Sunday explains exactly what you need, and everything is waiting right at your door exactly when you need it. All I had to do was attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It's just that easy. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/Petro to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at getsunday.com/Petro. getsunday.com/Petro.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
My beard is at a level of voluminosity. Not Illuminati, Larry Johnson. I know you're listening. Dude, his Twitter account, don't use that as a liner. I don't want you to use that as a liner. I don't want Larry Johnson to find a picture of me from when I was 13 covering one eye. I don't know, I just did it. Oh, I just did it on Facebook. And now he can take that screenshot, and now I'm a devil worshiper or something. Oh, now he's going to cut me saying I'm a devil worshiper.
With Joshua Brisco.
I'm a devil worshiper.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The clown nose is back on. And by back on, I mean I had to hold it up for the joke that time because it's not actually a clown nose. It's a mic cover. What? Theater of the mind. I did want to circle back to a couple things that Verderame pointed out because I think there are two pieces of, I don't know if it's like, big breaking news, but it's the kind of thing that you should know if you're thinking about the Chiefs this offseason. The Melvin Ingram deal, not off the table, but it just sounds like he wants a multi-year deal with a good amount of money, probably a good amount of guaranteed money there.
He's trying to cash out as best he can.
And the Chiefs are still in as they were for Alex Okafor. The Alex Okafor signing, was a couple of years and a good chunk of change. I think there's a chance they'd give that up for Melvin Ingram. I hesitate a little bit because of the injury issues that he has so obviously had. And I am a bit concerned about what it ends up looking like if he doesn't end up on this roster because that position is so thin right now. I think similarly to the wide receiver deal that if they don't add a veteran receiver or a veteran edge, I think that you could add your receiver in the second round, your edge in the third, and put together competence at those positions. But those are two places that they obviously really like to have an actual strength developing and not just kind of, just slide by. So I think that I think that's kind of interesting. I also think it's very interesting, the idea that maybe the veteran tackle they end up signing is Eric Fisher. The thing for me about that is that if you're going to draft a tackle at 31, I think ideally you draft a tackle at 31 who doesn't have to start right away and that you can let kind of get into the groove a little bit. I guess if I was going to have to kind of chop and screw that strategy a little bit, I could see you saying, you know what? This dude at 31 is Sam Cosmi or whoever it is, Liam Eichenberg, is going to be our day one starter. And if in week 5 he's been a disaster, we're going to go see about Eric Fisher's Achilles and see if he wants to come back. I get it. It just seems like that is a very volatile game to play. That I think, I don't know, it makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not like dying, I'm not panicking, but I think that's a little bit of a playing with fire, at least a little bit.
I think it worries me less than it does for the average person, but I think part of that is just always just assuming that at some point there was going to be a rookie starting at left tackle. Now, ideally, you'd have a rookie starting at left tackle when your left guard through right tackle is kind of a little bit more solidified.
Right.
Which maybe will be, right? Like if Ryder resigns, you kind of have left guard through right tackle kind of figured out.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of throwing in a rookie, and it's not necessarily just a sink or swim situation. And also, and part of this is just the Patrick Mahomes factor, right? I trust. Here's what I learned. I don't know if Andy Reid can overcome an offensive line and Patrick Mahomes when all 5 guys are bad, but if one guy's bad, I think they can figure it out. Or if one guy's just slightly below average. But obviously, you'd rather not go into a year with the left tackle being again maybe not even a top tier left tackle in the draft.
I think that's probably true. The one thing that gives me a bit of hesitance is that if it doesn't go well, your first 4 weeks is Patrick Mahomes being terrified to hang out in the pocket because you're afraid he's going to get absolutely whacked by the dude coming by his blind side. But
absolutely.
That's an issue they're going to have to deal with at one point or another. Mick Shaffer is next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John, and I've been listening to how great Nate feels after going to Stretch Zone, so I had to try it out myself, and I feel fantastic. And my wife, Susan, she's had 2 years of daily back pain, which is already feeling better after a few sessions. Stretch Zone will help you relieve stiffness and soreness, increase and maintain range of motions, and enhance physical skills. Stretch Zone is located in Lenexa and Overland Park. For more information, check out StretchZone.com.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Byron Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. Victory Ford is dedicated to one thing, serving you. Our staff are experts in providing you the knowledge needed to make the right decision on your next car or truck. Fantastic customer service doesn't end when the sale does. Our dealership also staffs a 5-star service center with the highest rated technicians and amenities. Visit us at the Legends Auto Plaza on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, or online at victoryfordkc.com. Victory Ford, where our first price is better than their last.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for Diamonds Direct. Did you know every diamond is unique? No two are the same. Even two diamonds that have the same grade on paper can look totally different in person. And here's another important fact. When buying a diamond, of the 4 C's, the cut is by far the most important one. You want a diamond that is properly cut, or you're going to end up with a dull diamond that just sits there. That's why I love to recommend Diamonds Direct. They don't even stock those B-list diamonds. Only the top cut grades ever make it to the showroom. After all, Diamonds Direct was born in a family of diamond cutters years ago. They know their stuff. They take pride in offering only the best and at the best value price. That's why I go to Diamonds Direct. A mind-blowing selection, up to 30 times ordinary stores, a no-pressure, no-risk environment, a complete objective diamond education, a free lifetime warranty with any purchase. It's a no-brainer, guys. Diamonds Direct is the total package. Luxury and value in one place with superior quality and the lowest prices. Diamonds Direct at 119th and Row, and tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
The DePasquale Moore Law Firm has partnered up with the Greater Kansas City Football Coaches Association to offer a free combine for rising senior football players in the Metro on Sunday, April 17th. High school seniors in the Greater Kansas City area should contact their football coach to see if they are eligible. Deadline is April 1st. It's the DePasquale Moore 2021 Combine, April 17th at Baser Linwood High School. Contact your high school football coach today. Space is limited.
Family Leisure is having our Factory Direct sale. Looking forward to spring for patio furniture or a new hot tub? Family Leisure has factory incentives going on now. Do you want to start a new career? Family Leisure is growing and wants you to join our championship family. If you want to be the best, come join the best at Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Now hiring for sales, service, warehouse, Bobcat operators, and more. Family Leisure, K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
Awesome!
Prime Lending's mortgage professionals are ready to assist you with your next home loan or refinance of your current residence. Prime Lending has 10 convenient locations to serve you. Visit whyprimelendingkc.com. That's WHYPrimelendingkc.com or call 816-600-4561. Prime Lending ranked #1 mortgage lender in the Kansas City, Missouri metro area market per Market Track January 2019 to October 2020. All loans subject to credit approval, rates and fees subject to change. Prime Lending, a Plains Capital Company, NMLS 13649, is an equal housing lender.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with a Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kansas City's favorite sports station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
It's good to have you guys while you're having me.
It's good to be had.
Yeah. No.
So I'm happy to hear
I'll be had anytime.
We all just want to be had in life.
Yeah, we do.
That's it, really.
Everybody just wants to be had.
Yeah.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Last hour of the show, last show of the week. Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News, with us here for the next hour. Mick, you've already taken your bracket out, which is a very, upfront move by you, but you're an upfront kind of person.
It was really, I mean, they ran out of toilet paper in the 810 restroom, so that's why I had to bring it out. And speaking of up front, it was not up front. It was round back.
Well, listen, you've used the toilet paper in the 810 bathroom at some point, I'd have to imagine, right?
Feels a lot like this.
It's very similar.
Not much different.
This card stock is essentially, honestly, you've got way less chance of, a little breakage accident with the card stock. I want to talk to you about you being halfway through your vaccination. I want to know what you're excited about in this post-vaccine world that you're about to step into. But more than anything, I do want to talk about, you gave us a little hint as to how your bracket has gone to this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it is, it's grosser than it would have been if you had used it for the bathroom reasons.
It is, isn't it? And you can't tell. Is this poop on here, or is this just me taking Oklahoma State to the Final Four? Is this poop on here, or is this 5 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16? You can't tell.
Never trust the Big Ten.
So what is your...
Or the Big 12. And I knew that.
And typically not the Pac-12, but you know what? This year, good job.
I thought the Pac-12 was 10-ply soft. We had toilet paper theme going here. But I was dead wrong. The sports guy. I was joking with Gary Lezak. We had to do our Zooms today about comparing our brackets. And I said, he has European models that pick, which turns out it's an actual computer program. It's really not like actual European models, females walking around in scantily clad clothing.
Those too,
he has those, but yeah.
It really is. It's one of the reasons that you see in weather person school. Is that right? Did I get gender neutral?
Yeah, weather person school.
In weather person school, that you have a really high rate of entry and a very low rate of graduation. I think the confusion over all of the models is very high on the list in terms of their retention rate issues.
Absolutely. But he has not only his entire Final Four, I have one Final Four team, Gonzaga, that's it, right? He has all of his Elite 8 left. How amazing. Hopefully he's entered in on the ESPN thing, because he might be winning the damn thing right now.
He's got to be pretty high.
So he has to have, then, in the Midwest, he has to have had Loyola Chicago beating Georgia Tech, beating Illinois. He has to have Loyola Chicago Houston.
He has, right now, in his Midwest, he has Illinois Chicago, and I don't know who he has playing, but he has Illinois Chicago going to the Elite 8 and playing Houston. And so I'm not sure.
It's unbelievable.
He might not have Syracuse.
No, but he's going to get that, though. Those two teams I think those might be the two biggest favorites of the weekend.
That should be the favorite of those two games.
Holy
the best possible matchup, according to the odds. In the in the West, he has USC getting all the way to play Gonzaga. I'm like, that's probably going to happen. Probably going to beat Oregon.
I have that too.
Oh, shut up.
Shut up, Rudy. We're talking about Lezak.
I have 14 of my 16 Sweet 16 teams.
We're done talking about Lezak, okay?
I want to talk about
I was just saying. I was just saying. I have 14 to 16, but I had
How's that
in the
so
Elite
you don't
8, I
have
had West
Roberts.
Virginia. I do not.
And let me guess, the other one.
Oh, no, sorry. 13 to 16. I missed Oral Roberts. Yes, I had Ohio State there.
Dropping.
I had then Oklahoma State, obviously, and then I had West Virginia. And then I had Oklahoma State playing West Virginia. Oklahoma State getting into the.
This is great. We have a chance, Reed. I don't know if you've. Can you please give me the NBA trade deadline stat that came up yesterday? I'd like to confirm something with me. We can break some news here.
Are we talking about the fun fact?
The fun fact from yesterday about the NBA trade deadline.
Fun fact from yesterday about the trade deadline. There are 3 Garys in the NBA, and all 3 were traded yesterday.
Seriously?
Yes.
Gary Trent
went from Portland to Toronto.
Is there Gary Payton Jr.?
There's not. They're not in the NBA right now.
Okay.
There is a Gary Payton Jr. Gary Harris went from Denver to Orlando, and then Gary Clark went from Orlando to Denver.
So this is where we ended up last night. I have not seen Gary Hales in this building.
I haven't seen him today either.
And I'm really nervous about Lezak.
What about Gary Lezak?
Lezak is still with 41?
41.
He is still with 41.
Oh,
we did the Zoom. He had a 41 shirt on.
Okay.
It was his day off, though. It was his day off, so maybe
man.
that means something.
When is the upcoming news station trade deadline? Is that next week? Because
that's true. Isn't that the same as the NBA trade deadline?
like in baseball,
right
all of a sudden
deadline,
you get written out. All of a sudden you're out of the lineup today. It's a day off because hey, there might be trade. Was Lezak off today because there's a trade in the works?
Wow.
Don't want to go to work, get hurt, now all of a sudden trades off.
It's mid-April because then the news draft is like the same time as the NFL draft.
That makes sense.
So that's when we bring in new talent.
the news draft, I feel like, would be a lot more popular if they just maybe did that like maybe a week after the NFL draft, week before. It was a weird time to put it.
Yeah,
but
we don't get near as many eyes on it as we would have.
So what was your final four, Mick? Now we've praised Gary. I'd like to get
go Gary.
I'd like to get up in your bracket here.
Gonzaga, brilliant, right?
Love it. Yeah, genius. You're so smart.
Texas, what was I thinking?
Shaka left today.
He did. The East, I thought, was just going to be pure anarchy, and it really hasn't been. Texas, the only top 4 seed, right, that's out. I had Ohio State because I really liked what I saw. I just put too much on conference tournaments, maybe. And then, listen, I said I'd never, Ohio State's not in it every year, but I rarely pick them to go. But I'm like, they had the NCAA took a blacked out for a moment, didn't come down with their appeal, didn't weigh in on it, so they get new life. They have the top pick in the NBA draft,
most talented player in college basketball.
It's not true. He's the top pick in the NBA draft.
Talented?
He's nowhere near the most talented player in college basketball. He is.
I'm not even saying the best. You don't think he's the most talented?
No, I think he's 6'8", and he can get his shot, and that's what NBA likes. But he can't blow by guys. He's a really good shooter.
Listen, Rudy, Quentin Grimes, I feel like we've all
when
pretty
you
much
watch, so he's going to end up with 20, 22 points, right? Every game.
Yeah.
But he's never going to wow you, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of players out there, like Suggs, who could be second or third pick, whatever. I watch him like, wow, that guy's good. Cade kind of has some old man game in him, right? He'll back some guys down. He'll get the free throw line, make shots. Hit some contested threes, which is great. Look, the NBA loves that because they want guys that can get their shots.
You're not saying he's bad. Just there's not.
No, but
I'm going to take.
He's
I can
nowhere
take
near the best player in college basketball.
Get to the rim whenever I want to.
A lot of times he's not the best player on the floor for Oklahoma State. Anyway, but I figure, okay, they have this guy,
right that way,
really talented,
and the bracket opened up for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it all the way, and they did not. That didn't happen. That did not happen.
This room, the three of us, all three of us bit the Oklahoma State apple and were summarily poisoned by it and have perished.
I should have warned you. I don't feel bad for myself. I feel bad for you two because I knew better.
Yeah,
I knew better.
I was just gonna ride the Cade Cunningham train. I was just like, you know what? He's gonna be good, I'm sure, and they're just gonna go. I mean, he wasn't bad, and it's not like he was bad in the tournament. Just Oregon State apparently can learn how to play basketball. This late into the season.
We were on the right track that region was going to be super hectic.
We knew it was going to be an OSU. It was going to win that game.
How about this?
We had OSU.
There were like 7 orange teams in there. You knew some orange
tons
teams.
of orange.
Wow, I didn't realize.
Oh, look at it. You had Clemson, you had Syracuse, you had Oklahoma State, you had Oregon State, you had Tennessee, you had Illinois. One more in there, maybe just 6.
Loyola, Chicago's got a little kind of yellowish, orange,
yellow maroonish,
yeah, it's close. Here's the fun game. Now you're not in the 8-10 online bracket challenge thing. Do you know how many points you have, or how many games you've gotten, or whatever? Do you have the app on your phone for the ESPN one or anything?
The lowest amount of points. Okay. I'm looking up right now. So I did a test this year. So I'm in a few pools, whatever.
Sure.
I'm on a CBS one here. And so I put this bracket in, which is going to be just a scrape in the bottom. And then I've got one that I just did Chalk. And I want to see how Chalk did. But Chalk's not going to do great this year.
No?
Not at all either.
Do you have the number of points for the bracket you've put there? They're different scoring systems, but I bet we can figure it out if you have the your CBS points.
So right now, Mick Shaffer 1 is ranked 267,947th.
I feel like that's not out of how many. I imagine there's a lot of people.
And then Mick Shaffer 2 is ranked 765,771st.
Wow. See, Mick Shaffer 1's not doing bad.
What's the number?
I don't know. I think Mick Shaffer 1 is the regular one.
See the number of points situation here.
What? There's gonna be a different point.
Yeah, I know. I got transitive properties. I'm gonna try to put you in with the
feels
10
like
group.
he can figure out how many you got right. Because I assume for
I don't know. There's some stinkers.
I assume for us it is a correct guess is 1 point. I actually don't know our scoring system. But just looking at it.
No. There's a lot because getting correct picks in the later rounds are worth more points and everything.
Okay, yeah.
On ESPN, it's all multiplied by 10. The 8-10 bracket challenge is you just cut off 0 at the end. But I wanted to place Mick's here. Here's the real thing, Mick. If you had to, you're familiar with all of the various wonderful radio shows across this great station.
Yeah.
You've got the Border Patrol, which is sort of in some ways, I would say, founded on KU, Mizzou, that battle, not only between the hosts, but in the name of the show, on the pulse of the Kansas City sports market. You've got The Zone. And you've got The Program, another great show that is, the expertise of Soren Petro.
Who has 4 brackets, by the way? I just want to put
family
that out
Those are family brackets.
I know, but still, I'm just his name has 4 brackets.
Who would you say of all the shows on this great station?
Jarrett Sutton, who is not obviously on the shows, but is a contributor to the station. He is on.
We've got Sterling. We have Sterling and Darren Smith as well. Who would you say? What show really has their finger on the pulse of college basketball nationally? Would you say, Mick?
In real life,
across A10.
Yeah, just across A10. Like
probably The Zone.
Yeah. How would you even? Let's say power rank the 4 shows. And kind of. Who you think knows the most or the least about college basketball?
Soren purports to know the most.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say. Well, you both.
I'm not going to disagree with.
No, I agree.
I'll go. Okay. Sure, I'll go The Program, then The Zone, then
I'm most scared of Soren,
Border Patrol, and then AES.
Yeah. So
That's
right
fair.
now, the 8-10 bracket challenge. First place, Joshua Brisco.
Yes,
Second place, Rudy Salazar.
Nice.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank
Well
you
done.
very much. 42 points, 41 points. You're going to find Soren down. Whatever Soren's legit bracket is, hard to say at this point. Stephen and Nate just scraping the bottom. That's a tough look for both of them.
Soren's bracket names are Beastly Noodle.
Yeah.
I think the one that's named Soren Petro is Soren Petro.
Yes, correct.
Lynn Sanity.
You are
his wife's name is
detective.
Lynn. And where's the other one? The Blind Bandit.
Yes.
Which I know is one of his daughters.
Yes.
I forget the daughter's name. I feel I'm
one
going out
that's
on a
called
limb that
Soren
says Soren Petro
Yes,
by
you're a
Soren
genius.
Petro.
You're so smart.
Probably Soren Petro.
Over on ESPN, I am in the 99th
almost out of the top.
percentile of brackets. I got 3 out of 4 Final Four teams left.
Wow.
I'm just saying that maybe you should reevaluate your power rankings. at
We
this
have
point.
we have an AES group, and I am currently winning that.
Yeah,
It's always the person, the
Josh is
kid
tied
who
for
picks
second.
for
That's right.
mascots that wins it. So you're in that category. Congratulations.
so here-
it's a
even
badge
better.
of honor
But here's
to
the
have
funny-
your bracket suck.
This is a good point. So
Even
here's
better.
the funny part.
Hear me out on this one. So here's who else we have in the AAS bracket. We have Chloe Brisco Bracketology, which is my 11-year-old sister we had on the show right before the tournament. She picks her bracket every
She's
year.
our official bracketologist,
Official bracketologist,
like Lenardi and those people, right? That's what she does.
She doesn't care about college basketball on literally any level. Her final was Maryland versus Florida because she loves reptiles. So it was Terrapins versus Gators. We have Richard Justice, Dick Justice, the dog. It is a stuffed wiener dog mascot that just picks dog mascots. We have Dr. Professor, which is an improv character that was born on this show many, many years ago, also knows nothing about college basketball. All 3 of those brackets, people, characters are obliterating Beards. All 3 of them.
Yep.
Nice.
Beards has literally the second worst bracket in the pool, and he tried. He has his maximum remaining points are about what we have right now, Rudy. He has 260
boy.
points. His Final Four is Iowa, Texas, Villanova, Illinois. I'm not sure how that happens. He has been absolutely curbside. I think you, Mick, may not have the worst bracket in this hour of Almost Entirely Sports.
So I looked up one of the pools I'm in. There's 190 some people in it. I'm in my 2 brackets are in 78th and 167th point place or something like that. So I'm bad, really bad. I should have done one. You go where if the mascots were actually fighting, if
I
the
love
nicknames
this.
were
Yeah.
actually fighting.
Yeah, that's
right?
always good.
So, Baylor plays Villanova. Who would win between a bear and a wildcat? Obviously, a bear.
Yeah.
Move them on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Arkansas, a Razorback taking on Oral Roberts.
It's Golden Eagle? Is that one of the color noun mascot combos?
It's Eagle or Golden Eagle. I think it's Golden Eagle.
I think that's right.
So Razorback or Razorback's gonna
Yeah,
win.
they are the Golden Eagles.
What
yes.
if the Eagle's made of gold?
Ooh, that's a good point.
It's gonna be
It's
even
too
worse.
heavy.
It's gonna be heavy. It's
Yeah,
can't
can't
fly.
fly.
It's gonna
That's
land on the
fair.
ground.
All right, fair enough. All right, so
I
the
mean, I
Razorback.
guess if it can just all of a sudden make its wings turn gold, if it's in the air and then maybe it just falls onto the animal and kills it, it's got a chance. But
Loyola and Oregon State, WTF, a Rambler.
It's dog.
It's like I think
wait,
it's like a
no,
small
no.
pack of dogs of like wolves. We went through all of this.
But it's going against a beaver.
I think you are right
can
about the.
I think a couple of dogs are beating a beaver.
A Rambler? Wait. A Rambler is a couple of dogs?
So the Ramblers' mascot is Lou Wolf.
Sounds like a news anchor from the 80s.
Yeah. So a Rambler is a. I mean, I feel confident saying it's a wolf of some sort.
Okay, so Rambler's going to beat a beaver.
A beaver for sure.
And then, so then we got an orange taking on a cougar. Cougar's got to win that, right?
Yep.
It's gonna be tough.
Is it more than one? Is it more than one wolf? Is that what have you found anything else out about the specific?
Does it matter? It's one beaver.
No, I'm sorry. I was moving on to the next round. Well, you know what?
Hold up. Chilling with Dylan. Blog says, "What's a Rambler?" Hint: it's not a wolf.
Yeah, I wouldn't think
It's
a
the student
Rambler.
newspaper. Let's see.
Yeah,
if
the
you think
wolf-
it's a wolf, like
the
our
wolf
mascot,
is a mascot.
Lou, you're wrong. Rambler has
nickname.
nothing to do with a wolf. Used to be a vagabond, and the university needs to change that mascot to the wolf you see today.
So it's a
let's
human?
see, maybe.
Human's going to kill a beaver.
I agree.
This is a tough one here. When you have we have Alabama taking on UCLA, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Bo Rambler was a caricature. I remember this was a caricature of a homeless man. They changed it to a wolf because they were making fun of homeless people.
Yeah, I mean,
Crimson Tide taking on a brew and a bear. Or are we going to call it an elephant taking on a bear? I mean, Crimson Tide. What does that mean? Just that's not even
Crimson
a thing.
Tide is it is
A wave.
it is multiple elephants. It's like a stampede of elephants.
Well, that's gonna change the game.
That is so the
tide's not an elephant.
No, but like so this is how they came up with the name of it. So it was this was way back in the day. There was a writer that covered Alabama football with like they stormed like basically they ran over the opponent like a wave of Crimson Tide, which back in the day was like a reference for elephants.
Okay. So elephant's gonna beat up on a bear probably.
Is it all of the elephants or is it just one elephant?
I think it's like at least 10 elephants.
All right, let's just a pack of elephants, pack of pachyderms.
No, they can only have one person. Like they can't have 10 people running around out there at once with a mascot. But I think it's meant to represent like
with that.
Seminole's gonna beat a Wolverine. Gonna kill.
How many Seminoles are we getting? Also, is that the same number?
I think just one-on-one. I think just one-on-one.
But that we're gonna have the issue with the rolling tide here in a minute. Or Crimson Tide is what I'm afraid.
Well, I'm still taking one elephant over a Bruin.
I think that's all right.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
And then I'm gonna. What do we have? A
Bulldog,
duck,
blue jay,
a duck taking on a Trojan.
Yeah, Trojan's
Sorry. Bye bye duck.
That one's a blowout.
Duck.
That one's a blowout.
It's a warrior.
Yeah.
So, and then we have a bulldog taking on a blue jay.
That's
Bulldog's gonna win.
Advantage bulldog. Do you want to get all the way to the final four here on this one? I feel like I want to finish this one out.
Sure. So we have a bulldog taking on a Trojan.
Tough break for the bulldog.
Man, Gonzaga's going down. Used to when you played this game, whenever Duke was in it, it's probably gonna win unless it ran into if it ran into like a Saints team or like some sort of godly figure, I always took good over evil.
The Providence Friars, maybe.
Yeah. Like whenever Wake Forest was in it, Demon Deacons. It's Demons. I'm gonna take them a ways. Yeah.
It's really disappointing that Miami's not better at college basketball because the Hurricanes a tough out.
Yeah, that's gonna be
so. Tough. Who is winning though? A Blue Devil or a Demon Deacon?
It's tough. I'm gonna go a devil over a demon.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I agree. We have a bear. A Baylor Bear is going to beat an Arkansas Razorback. I mean, it's just bigger. It's just simply more fierce.
It's all size and it's all physics.
The Razorbacks gonna do some damage, but it just doesn't have
He'll
enough.
get slicks in, but he'll die.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about Rambler and all of the things that come with that against a cougar? I think a good cougar is going to have the upper hand. It's going to have literally the high ground.
It's a vagabond? Like
so
a person?
It depends. So now it's a wolf. It used to be a caricature of a homeless man.
Maybe we just called a wolf like we called Crimson Tide an elephant.
Can it be a homeless wolf?
Who's gonna beat it? What's gonna win? Cougar or wolf? What would win? Cougars are smaller, probably.
Here's what I think. I think of a cougar coming off the side of a mountain or something, and all of a sudden they're on top of this wolf or vagabond.
A little bit more stealth, maybe.
That's
to its
kind of what
game.
I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's just. It depends on what kind of
Is
wolf.
it a smart? It might also be. Is it a smarter animal?
So a cougar.
I feel like a cougar is just a smarter animal than a wolf.
A male cougar can be 120 to 220 pounds.
Okay.
How big is a wolf, though? You may be asking. I may be Googling.
Maybe typing.
66 to 180 pounds, just for your generic wolf.
Wide range.
It is, but
so it can be smaller and bigger.
If you go biggest version of both, the cougar would advance. I'm leaning cougar here. I don't know why.
I think a cougar is a smarter animal. It's got a little bit more.
What if instead
a little bit more tactics in there? And again, it's that stealth factor. I think it knows how to like maybe sneak up.
I don't know. I'm always going dog over cat.
Well, here's the.
I think generally that's
counterpoint.
fine, but I think a big cat is better than average sized dog.
If we can't decide dog versus cat, what if we go vagabond versus attractive older lady?
Again, it's a push.
It's tough. There's a lot of factors in there.
It's still tough.
Let's go vagabond because a cougar's gonna tear up a person, right?
Yeah, that works.
Especially a vagabond that's not like a warrior.
That's a good point. It's just,
and you know, it's a nomad. It's out there by himself.
Yeah.
And a cougar's that's the prey cougars are looking for.
Yeah. So we've got did we get Seminole versus Crimson Tide?
Tough here.
Elephants are big.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about, they don't have machine guns. They got spears, but they don't have like a bomb, you know? Which I think what you need to kill an elephant. I don't know. I've never killed an elephant before.
It's 1-on-1. I'm gonna go with the elephant.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
So now we've got our championship games of
an elephant
Spartan
taking on a Trojan.
That's right. See, they've got armor. They've got a little more kind of firepower, it feels like, but it's also still an elephant.
It is advanced weaponry.
Yeah.
But it's an elephant.
Is it advanced weaponry? I mean,
Well,
Trojans lived a long time ago.
I would say advanced in the sense that it's not like modern, but like they had access
Big
to
shields.
They had access
That
to like
elephant's
two
gonna F
metals.
up a shield,
Oh
though,
yeah,
dude.
I'm still going with them. I'm still
Yeah, I
going
mean,
with
a
elephant, yeah.
sword isn't gonna do much. That elephant.
A Trojan is a little better
get that
equipped.
sword up in there, but
but
tough.
the elephant
I feel like
is
Alabama's gonna roll here.
Yeah.
And then we've got, I'm trying to do the math here,
I got them in
bears
the Final Four.
versus cougars. Talking a big old grizzly bear.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's a hard out. You feel good about bears versus elephants championship game?
Who'd the Bears beat to get there?
The Razorbacks.
Oh yeah. So Bears takes on who?
Bears take on. Where did I end up? I've lost.
Bears,
I've also
you
lost.
had Bears
the plot.
versus the Cougars.
Cougars. That was right. That's right.
All Bears.
Yeah.
Then Bears
versus
elephants. This is tough. Are you sure? Here's the thing. All right. Here's the counterpoint. Is it a
black bear or is it a grizzly bear?
I gotta be a grizzly bear. I think even Baylor's got the grizzly bear like, in the logo.
Yeah, probably.
Here's the counterpoint. Are we going for who survives longer or who is more likely to best the other one? Because the elephant's not a predator. An elephant's not gonna go get that bear. It might survive the attack.
But if the bear messes with the elephant's not just gonna like stand there and take it.
Right.
Like it's gonna fight back.
You're the expert, Mick. I defer to you.
Guys, the elephant just took down a Trojan warrior. It's gonna beat a damn bear. Okay? The bear's bigger, but a bear doesn't have a sword.
It's got a lot
elephant's
of
gonna beat a bear.
It's got a bunch of little swords on its fingers.
But I would take a Trojan over a bear.
Oh.
Right? He's
I
got
agree.
a sword.
I agree.
You
I
can
think
take
that's
down a
right.
bear.
Listen, it's not going to be 100% of the time.
So if a Trojan could beat a bear,
the reality too
and an
is,
elephant could beat a Trojan, elephant's going to take down
the
a bear.
reality though is like a Trojan also is not just limited to the sword. Trojans had many weapons, spears,
bow and arrow.
A Trojan's going to
might
beat
be
a
it.
duck 100 times out of 100. I think the Trojan's getting the elephant like 10 times out of 100, you know?
Yeah.
But it's still not. I still don't think we should take it for granted. All right, there you go. Our mixed national champion in his new bracket is the Alabama Elephants, which is a better name, by the way.
Yeah.
They should change it.
I like saying Roll Tide.
Roll Fence.
I think you said it wrong, Rudy.
Roll Tide.
Roll
I like
Tide.
saying Roll Tide. Their phrase is Roll Tide.
I thought you just said damn roll tide, and I thought
No,
roll damn tide was like a thing.
No, it's just Roll Tide.
No, I
the
know
phrase
that's.
is just roll.
Is there not any? Or maybe I'm thinking more damn eagle. The SEC likes a light cursing in their mascot
Oh, absolutely.
name. and their
I
dancing and
mean,
whatnot.
there are people who say, I'm sure, who say Roll Damn Tide. Like, I'm sure that's not like uncommon. Just the phrase is technically Roll Tide.
No, I know that.
Yeah. But I'm sure people say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the SEC.
Someone said it. I've not said it on the radio.
We say, it's Big Blue Nation, but we say Big Blue Bleeping Nation in Kentucky.
Do you?
I mean, probably. I honestly never heard it. I just made that up. But there's probably somebody who did.
What do you say about Oklahoma State right now, Mick? What's
There's
Oklahoma State's new
there's
slogan?
a lot of cuss words in that.
Oklahoma State's new slogan.
A lot of cuss words in that. Probably even like too much for radio.
It seems like your new catchphrase is Cade Cunningham is overrated, which is a tough look, but I feel like that's where we started.
He is. I mean, he can't be underrated with all the ink he gets.
Fair.
That's fair.
He can't be underrated. He is a great player. I'm glad. I mean, look, he led Oklahoma State to 20-plus wins in a season where they were shortened by like 5 or 6 games. So that is unheard of. That was great. They won a tournament game for the first time since 2009. Door was wide open for a Sweet 16 run, something they haven't made since my 20s. So that's disappointing. But no, broad strokes, big picture, it was great having him at Oklahoma State. And maybe he's got some younger brothers and we can keep his older brother on staff. And because that's the only reason he went.
Let that family
there.
tree come.
Yeah. We talked about that on the Zone. You should have an opening every basketball staff for a family member.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go, the first thing you do when you walk into a recruit's home, you ask him, who's your favorite human in the world? Is your dad? Hire dad. If it's,
Come on.
uncle, what, we joke, though, they'd be hiring a lot of grandmas. There's a grandma, director of basketball operations, Maxine Shaffer.
Could be director of student life.
Who is the most famous person in college basketball right now?
Yeah, Sister Jean.
Sister Jean. College basketball needs more grandmas.
Great.
It's true.
I feel like that actually might be exactly it. That's Coach Grandma to you.
Yeah.
Have her out there with the whistle, just having you run up and down the floor. You can't call them suicides anymore. What are those called now? What do we call those
I
now?
think they're still.
People call those something else.
So I mean, when I was in high school, it was always called suicides. Occasionally gassers. I feel like,
that was what I was looking for. Up and down the floor.
Yeah.
Grandma, blowing the whistle.
Prove it to me that she's not the best, most qualified candidate for our position of director of basketball
people
operations.
are saying now that she's actually a witch.
All you gotta do,
which I'm fine with.
All you gotta do to make the grandma look the part on the sideline is just like Adidas jumpsuit and some great kicks.
Totally.
Am I gonna come tell you that no, she doesn't belong on that sideline?
Everybody does it. Everybody's already doing it.
Put her in Bill Self's, quarter zip. Give her some all gold Adidas, and let's land this grad transfer. Let's go, Bill.
Oh, by the way, that's a great way to keep kids longer. No more one and dones when you say, "Hey,
you're not leaving grandma."
Grandma loses her job. Okay,
second you're
once
gone,
you
grandma
jump to the league, okay,
out of here.
Do you want employment for 4, maybe 5 years for grandma, or just one and done?
Listen, we got.
Although, I mean, once he jumps to the league and starts making a ton of coin, then
We will kick grandma to the curb, and then she's on her own. He's just like, well, I've got like $20 million waiting for me, so grandma's going to the curb.
I feel like there's some lines here from Happy Gilmore about grandmas we can make here, but I can't think of any.
We got a great healthcare program here for Coach Grandma here at University of Kansas. If you all of a sudden you go to the league, what's going to happen to grandma's healthcare? It's hard to say. She's also partying with Snoop Dogg. She just smoked out Snoop Dogg. It's crazy. Late night at the Fog with Snoop and Coach Grandma. Are you kidding me? You think Sister Jean can hang?
Oh, absolutely. Did you see her prayer? Her prayer was hilarious.
Yeah.
Religious analytics. It's a new thing. It's a new realm of gauging athletes and how good they are.
Laramie Tunsil's been in the news again today because of all the trades the Dolphins have made and everything, and how basically they turned Laramie Tunsil into 95 draft picks, and it all really started with the gas mask bong. Now I'm just imagining Sister Jean wearing the gas mask bong helmet thing that Laramie Tunsil was seen on video at draft night wearing. Allegedly. Could have been anybody.
Could have been anybody.
And it just makes me really happy. It's just a mental image. I think everyone should take a second to imagine Sister Jean wearing a gas mask bong.
Could have been Jeremy Tonsil in there.
Jeremy Tonsil.
Could have been Jeremy Tonsil.
The best thing about Sister Jean, they dug up her birthday. She was born, the day she was born, Babe Ruth went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, right?
My goodness.
For the Red Sox.
For the Red Sox!
For the Red Sox.
Such a good stat.
Pre-Yankees days.
She was, I was saying that maybe she should get the
She's an
KU
OG.
football job. Do you know who was the head coach of KU football whenever she was, at one point when she was live early in her life?
Fog Allen.
Fog Allen! Fog Allen was the KU football coach when she was 2. She's very old. Sister Jean is a very old woman.
She was born during World War I.
She could take all 3 of us in one-on-one right now.
Oh, yeah, she'll dunk on you
I
for
think
sure.
she was born probably on the heels of the Spanish flu pandemic.
Which originated actually in Kansas.
That's right. They called it the Kansas flu.
I learned that within this last year, actually. I never knew that.
She was born in
fun fact.
1919.
Well, they were the same flu, Spanish flu and Kansas flu?
I don't think if they were
No,
the same flu, but
they're
the product.
But there was a big Kansas flu.
The Spanish flu, though, what spread it was, I think it was produce from Kansas. It was we sent stuff to Spain. It was contaminated. Spain got the flu really bad. A lot of people died. Spanish flu.
The same year, this was before her birth, but the year that Sister Jean was born, Teddy Roosevelt died. She's extremely old, is basically where I've ended up. I'm scrolling through some other major events from her, from the year 1919, when she was born.
Oh, man. How much was gas? You can't do one of these without saying how much gas was, like a gallon.
It didn't exist. Gas
Gas not
didn't
existed in
exist.
1919?
Well, I mean, we didn't have cars.
Well, what year? I honestly couldn't tell you
there were
what year.
5 cars
off the top
made.
of my head. What the first year, when cars, I guess, became a thing.
I mean, this show has largely become, hey, Google this thing, and I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to find more, noteworthy births, deaths, and various.
Okay, well, oil. You could get crude oil for $2.01
for a barrel.
For a barrel,
wasn't it worth negative money 2 years ago?
I mean, maybe at one point. Right now, it's $55.59 a barrel.
I'm trying to come up with another good one to go to break on. I really don't have anything. I think I burned my best shot on Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay, best 1919 fact.
This is her second Roaring 20s.
That'll do. Let's take a break.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
There's nothing like the sounds of your son learning to dribble, or the sounds of your daughter learning to tap dance. A local family-owned hardwood flooring specialist company wants to help you remember these sounds for the rest of your life with a quality wood floor. Acme Floor has been in business for almost 100 years and is so entrusted with its workmanship and quality of materials that KU and MU called them to build their wood basketball courts. You may not be looking for a basketball court, but Acme Floor can help you create the sounds and look you want in your home. From the floor at the Nelson Atkins Block Building, UMKC Swinney Rec, the stages at the Kauffman Center, to your kitchen. No project is too big and no budget is too small. If you're looking at laying a new floor, refinish or resurface your hardwood floors, why not call the best? Give Acme Floor Company a call at 913-888-3200. Acme Floor Company works with both residential and commercial customers. Go by their Lenexa showroom at 10100 Marshall Drive. 4-generation family-owned and operated.
Another season of frigid temperatures is finally behind us. But with the good comes some bad, because another winter in the books means another year of wear and tear on your roof. Greg Gurley here. Wouldn't it be nice to sleep well knowing you can trust the roof over your head? You can with the company I trust, Buck Roofing. Buck Roofing has fixed the roof over my mom's head and thousands of KC homeowners and commercial buildings. Jayhawks, Wildcats, and Tigers all agree that Buck Roofing is simply the best in Kansas City. Ron and his team are experts in residential, commercial roofing, and they can do your gutters too. Don't just take my word for it. Check their rating with Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. Buck Roofing will do only the work that needs to be done, and you can trust that you are getting a fair bid. Put this number in your phone now, 913-384-2680. That's 913-384-2680, or online at ourbuckroofing.com. And sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
Hi, this is Tamara Day of HGTV's Bargain Mansions. Watching the tournament in style these days is from a sweet space at home. If your entertainment space needs some fine-tuning, enter the Madness Makeover Contest for your chance to get my design plan and hook up with what it takes to make your space great, worth over $9,500. Brought to you by Nutter Home Loans, myself, and my store, Growing Days Home.
No purchase necessary. Visit 810WHB.com/makeover for rules and your chance to score. James B. Nutter and Company, DBA Nutter Home Loans, NMLS 2067.
The American dream, home ownership. Now, is that true? Sometimes owning a house can be a problem, an ugly problem. Repairs, taxes, just mowing the yard. What we've learned is with every ugly problem, there's a beautiful solution. Let us be that solution. WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Call us today. We're the We Buy Ugly Houses people. 1-800-44-BUYER or WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Call us today. Get rid of that ugly problem. 1-800-44-BUYER. We're the real ugly house guys.
If you drive a car, truck, SUV, or vehicle of any kind, you need Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. That's right. With the free Get Upside gas app, you can get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. Nearly 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside. Some months I make $200 to $300.
I love getting money back for things I use every day. It's just free money for buying gas.
There's no catch. It's simple, and you get your cash back right away.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code OIL for a 50-cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Earn cash back on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 50-cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
No, I get it, guys. Yeah, I got a long, stupid, sometimes fat face with a dumb nose. Yeah, I get it.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Second segment of the hour with Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News. Making some noise with his chair. Are these those shoes? Are you wearing those shoes that we talked about a while ago here now?
Yeah, dudes, I wear them all the time.
I haven't seen them yet. I'm looking at them. This is not judgmentally. This is me now trying to figure out.
We just talked about them? You haven't seen them?
That's because last time you were in, you were not in full like beach Mick mode, right. You know? Mm-hmm. Because I pulled them up online. I bought some like moccasin slippers sometime when it was cold. Actually, after we talked about the dudes, so I don't know. About them recently because my slippers are all falling apart. I'm a big slipper guy, big house shoe guy, you know?
Same.
But the fact that you can just kick these out into the real world, really, really enticing. And they don't look...
$60.
They don't look... They do kind of look like slippers. They look like you could convince me. If I just saw you out and about...
I feel like the laces here kind of make them not slippers. They're like, oh, no, these are meant for outdoors.
Yeah. And, they don't look less like slippers than the moccasin slippers that I bought, but I feel like the context is everything. If you're outside wearing these shoes, let's go, those are normal shoes. If you had those kicked up on the coffee table at home, I would think they were slippers. Yeah, that's all the context.
They're chameleons,
dual
right?
Purpose.
They can blend in the environment.
They're a 5-tool shoe.
Rudy, I'm honestly surprised that you have not made this particular plunge because you're a big boat shoes guy, big Sperry's guy.
I've seen them. It's just been a while. Like since I found out about them, I probably haven't bought new shoes in honestly, year and a half, 2 years. And I first found out about them maybe a year ago. Maybe it was 8-ish months ago was the first time I heard about them. So I just haven't bought new shoes. And
are you gonna get an endorsement?
Do it tonight. Just go to Shields. You're right there.
Why don't you just
15 minutes of your time?
Why don't you get
them on Amazon?
Why don't you get an endorsement deal?
Do I have to go into Shields?
See if you can buy them from the website. Why don't you see if Dude's Shoes wants to sponsor your hour on Almost Entirely Sports?
Why
every
would they want? Why would they want to do that?
Why wouldn't
Because
they
we're talking
want
about how great they are every week. And
Oh,
also, this
wow.
hour has been. Do you think Dude's Shoes doesn't care about your terrible bracket, our great bracket,
Yeah.
and also facts from 1919?
I think they don't care about that.
I feel like we are exactly up their alley. I will only wear these checkerboard Vans at this point in my life because I love a slip-on, slip-off shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes is clearly the next logical thing. It's just that we have radio money. We've
Yeah.
got TV money and
Yeah.
TV influence, most importantly.
I mean, you're famous. You're out here blocking people into the ocean, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like saying why can't Coca-Cola sponsor my podcast? That's kind of the
Do you
same
think
level.
Dude's Shoes and Coca-Cola are both like publicly trading for the same price? Because I bet they're not.
No, but it's still a big thing. Whatever shoe is, if you're in it, Shields, right? I don't think you need any sort of investment into almost entirely.
Maybe you don't
sports.
need it, but maybe you want it.
Yeah, lots. I mean, listen. Think about all of the ads we run for people with droopy wee-wees. They don't need the advertising necessarily to like remind people that their wee-wee doesn't
No,
work.
I think they do. That's why they buy it.
But if you have that problem, you could just go Google it. Right? They're trying. It's about enriching how the customer is hearing about your brand. We're giving them free advertising right now. That's why all advertising happens. I'm just saying that Dude's Shoes is very much within that range of still. Maybe they don't get Arrowhead Stadium name rights. Maybe they get this hour of Almost Entirely Sports naming rights.
Yeah, I think maybe if
Amazon doesn't need to advertise, but they still do. Probably a better example than the wee ads.
Let's go. We probably should go to the other side of it. If Almost Entirely Sports reached an audience outside of like 169th and Antioch, then maybe
Mick, let me tell you about this little thing called the internet. We're on.
Do you have numbers?
Twitch.
There's
absolutely got numbers.
There is a person in Europe who listens to us.
Nice. Yeah. Learn some Dude's Shoes.
He makes he has made avatars of Josh. He does graphic design stuff.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Shout
there
out
was
to
also
Steve.
once back in the day.
So why aren't they right
there was
now?
like a 5-year-old
running
over in
commercials?
Europe who also listened to Josh.
Yeah.
No, I have no
Sales
idea.
doesn't know what they're doing, huh? Sales doesn't know what they're doing.
I'm on their website right now. Look at these Aztec print ones.
Yeah,
I feel like I could
cool.
sell these. I feel like I could sell these to specifically this listening audience. That's fine though. I mean, look at
How
the
many
black
are you
and
going to
white
sell? How many are you going to
checkerboards.
sell? Because that's the number.
One to me right
Yeah.
now. They aren't my size.
Not enough.
Disappointing. I think we can make it happen. Hit me
Josh
up.
buys one. I buys one. Beards obviously won't buy one.
No.
But at least one listener will buy one.
Yeah, we'll get to at least 3.
We'll at least get one.
We'll get to at least 3.
Yeah.
I have a question for you that you may or may not actually be able to be helpful on. I know this is way outside of our typical show comfort zone, where it's like an actual topic that I think you may have actual answers on. But I was reading what Sam Ellinger wrote in the Star about all of the regional broadcast networks and all the people that aren't going to be able to watch the Royals and Sporting as things currently stand, the cord cutters and whatnot. I've had multiple people ask me, like, so is there anything that we can do to, like, have them bring, as I'm going to continue to call it, Bally Sports Network over? It's Bally until they get on YouTube TV.
Oh, okay.
They're Bally until they get to YouTube TV. Is there anything that can be done to express this discontent to whoever it needs to be expressed towards, or are we all just effed for this Royal season?
Light them up on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Twitter fingers.
No, the answer is you're effed for this season.
No, you're not. They'll do it. They'll do a midnight deal. They always do midnight deals.
That's what
They always do midnight
Do you
deals.
think they're going to get it figured out?
No way are they going to have YouTube TV and Hulu TV people not seeing the Royals and Sporting all year long. And like cord cutters, like back in the day, that's got a connotation of, oh, look at these weirdos over here. They've cut the cord. That's like the majority of us now are cord cutters, right?
Yeah.
That's the normal people now. And I mean, look. It's easy for us to say, God, they're idiots. They don't know that. They have to know how many people do it. They just haven't found the right number. They always do it. It'll be a midnight deal. It'll happen. 11th hour.
I will say there. So, and I don't know the specifics of the situation, so I can't say it's the same night and day. But in Denver, for over a year now, if you have DirecTV or Comcast, you've not been able to watch the Nuggets or the Avalanche because of a dispute between Altitude TV and those
Well, in
networks.
LA, you can't watch the Dodgers. I don't think still, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
so,
all on Spectrum.
And again,
Much less
I don't know the specifics in that agreement. I don't want to say like this is the same because I truly have no idea. just, I agree with Mick. I think, like, because 99% of the time this stuff gets worked out at the very least last second. But I would say, I guess it appears at least recently there's a more of a chance of something like that happening. Whatever that percentage is, still, I would still say it's low, but it's a little bit higher than normal.
Yeah.
Does that end up being, is it simply a money thing? And if the answer to that is yes, which I sort of imagine probably is, I just simply don't understand how and why it ends up getting to a point like this, where it is a story in and of itself that we might not be able to see sports teams that we're trying to watch on ways that are incredibly popular ways of watching television at this point.
Yeah, and so both sides are going to get grief on it from everybody, and they should, right? And so it forces them down to make a negotiation and find a happy medium and settle on a price. So basically, it's a regional sports network, right? If you're a regional sports network, you can be offered up to anybody, and you basically name a price for your subs, for your subscribers. And you have to agree on a price, and there isn't one, I guess, in place for YouTube TV and Hulu TV, and where a lot of people watch their stuff. And it's a bad look, because YouTube TV especially, I'm not as familiar with Hulu, is so good with sports. I mean, they've got NFL Network now.
Yeah.
And so it's to not have that, you've had it for so long. Yeah, I think that would be a big mistake for Bally. I like that. We'll call him Bally.
As soon as
BALL is ball.
Listen.
We're talking about sports here. It's Bally.
I feel, and I'm going to just continue to emphasize that until they, fix their issues, and then I'll come around. But you feel good about that actually being resolved at some point, which is nice, because it feels like it's mostly what I've heard has been like a relative doom and gloom kind of concern that this may actually not land.
Everybody's doom and gloom on the internet, and that's what that's what it needs to be, right? To force these two back to the negotiating table and get it on. Get it on.
Yep. We'll get it on one more time with Mick Shaffer whenever we come back.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Vanderbilt's is your work boot center. Vanderbilt's carries all the best brands in work. Keen Utility, Wolverine, Ariat Rebar, Reebok, Timberland Pro, and Carolina. Whether you need safety toe or non-safety, we have you covered. Athletic, hikers, traditional work boots, or pull-on styles, Vanderbilt's carries them all at the best prices around. And check out Vanderbilt's for their selection of work clothing as well. Locations in Lawrence, Topeka, and Wamego.
Your work boot center, Vanderbilt.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Camelot Court. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness offers medical aesthetics and IV nutrient therapy, and there is a full-service CBD American Shaman store there too. Start your journey to wellness with Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness. Call 913-227-9150 or go to shamantotalwellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
Squeaky doors, clogged sinks, finicky engines. When things break around the house, you take care of it. However, when something's off in the bedroom, you just try not to think about it. Come on, man, what are you waiting for? Take care of it. Go to GetRoman.com/JakeG now. Why Roman? Because you get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/JakeG and complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving your home. Complete an online visit today to connect with a healthcare professional and take care of it. Go to GetRoman.com/JakeG now and you'll get $15 off your first month. That's GetRoman.com/JakeG. It's really time to take care of your ED. And remember, get started today and you'll save $15 off your first order of ED treatment. Mercedes-Benz is the automotive manufacturer that stands above all others. And in Kansas City, the Mercedes-Benz dealer that has been named Best of the Best is Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City in Kansas City, Missouri, Overland Park, Lee Summit, and Olathe. Your local Mercedes-Benz new and used car, truck, and SUV dealership. If you're looking for a new vehicle or a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, your source is Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, 1/2 mile east of 135th and State Line, or online at mbofkc.com. The Kansas City market's #1 volume certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan.
Our family has been a loyal Mercedes of KC customer for years. Stop in at MB KC of Kansas City and see why we love them so much. They take pride in their vehicles. They provide great customer experience and satisfaction. MB of KC is your local Mercedes-Benz new and used car, truck, and SUV dealership. 1/2 mile east of 135th and State Line on Highway 150.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-259-8642. 800-259-8642. 800-259-8642.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I don't know the rules about verification because nobody's ever touched me with verification.
I'll touch you with verification.
You know, set myself up.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Last segment of the show, last show of the week. Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News. Bracket expert.
Extraordinary.
Our-
you want
our-
to keep this and frame it?
I would like if we can put that up on the wall.
Let's
in our
talk about
office.
some of my picks here. I picked Colgate to beat Arkansas, which looked good.
Yeah,
It
for a
started off
little
very
while.
good, yeah.
I also picked. I picked a 15-2 upset, just the wrong one. I picked Iona to beat Alabama. I
Oh,
did
well,
not-
Alabama's still active.
I
They're
did
still
not believe in Oral. Didn't know about Oral.
I have Alabama in the Final Four, but I had to support a coach who says we're only going to shoot the three. I have to support that coach.
You also you went, Colgate, Word Association game, Colgate, toothpaste, oral health. You went oral health instead of Oral Roberts. That
Right.
ended up being your letdown.
Yeah, right. And look, Arkansas having to just always battle hygiene. Colgate,
not wrong,
and now Oral Health.
That's the tough draw
Did
for
you hear
them.
about the coach from Oral Roberts
such a tough draw.
fought Kevin Bacon or got into an altercation with
What?
Kevin
Yeah,
Bacon
yeah.
and was it a Vegas barbershop? Basically, they were in he just happened to be in a barbershop, the same barbershop as Kevin Bacon, and Kevin Bacon had just gotten a facial,
Massage of some sort,
and they were making fun of each other essentially about getting a facial, which led to this altercation about 20 years ago. Between the Oral Roberts coach
With the
and
Oral Roberts
Kevin
coach
Bacon.
and Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
All right. I hadn't heard that story.
Yeah.
I'll go try to find that information, I suppose. What was your next worst pick?
So wait, did you take? Oh, you said you have UCLA in?
So I thought I had I had the 11 seed getting to the Sweet 16. I just
You
had
used
it
one of the
Michigan
two.
State.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Michigan State.
Oh, you're
doing
counting
it.
that though,
Yeah.
but you get a.
But it technically, it
That's so
technically
dumb.
counts.
Why can't we?
yes.
Why don't
I'm
most?
surprised you don't
you
pick your
pick-
Final
yeah.
Four because I just it's to me it was January, February, Izzo, April, and so I was like, hey, Izzo's going to somehow get to the Sweet 16 somehow. And then it's just so happened that UCLA has been the team to do it. I'm like, oh, okay.
The brackets
I'll take
don't
it.
lock until after the first four.
Yeah.
So after Wichita State lost, I went
That's
through and then
true.
I picked USC to win more games.
I clicked it when it was Michigan State, assuming because I thought Michigan State would obviously win, or I clicked it when it was both. I was guessing Michigan State would win, and then so I just got lucky on that one. I'll say.
Which coaching move were you more surprised by in the Big 12 this week between Lon Kruger and Shaka Smart? Sports question.
Sports. More surprised? I guess more surprised by Shaka. Not surprised by either one. Shaka's a nudged out the door, right?
I actually had talked to CJ Moore about this from the Athletic a couple days ago. He'd mentioned there's another coach that he mentioned that I'm now embarrassed not being able to remember. The guy that famously steps out right before getting fired. But that seems like the Shaka move, where it's like, you know what? This seat's gotten pretty toasty. I'm not really having a good time anymore.
You restart the clock. You
Yeah.
Your buyout has now increased because you have a longer deal.
Yeah. I thought that made sense. Lon Kruger retiring, he can just retire. Like, that's fine.
Is Lon Kruger maybe the greatest athlete we've never talked about?
I mean, I'd love to hear your logic for why the answer is yes.
Did he played at K-State, didn't he?
He played basketball at K-State, was 2-time Big 8 Player of the Year on some great teams.
Lon.
He was also a shortstop for the Kansas State baseball team.
Lon's just out here
He
crossing
played a
people
year
over.
of minor league baseball. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, played a little bit with the Pistons as well, and coup de grace was invited to camp as a quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys.
I just now imagine that over the last 5 years, Lon absolutely crossed up one of the Oklahoma basketball players. One of them was just messing around with coach. You can't play. And Lon just went in between the legs, broke the ankles, hit a step back three.
How did he end up how he did?
Wait,
why,
what?
Did he? Why did his athletic prowess not take him farther? Or are you saying he got some NBA time?
Pretty far. I mean, he played professional baseball, got invited to camp with the Cowboys, and played professional basketball.
I wanted the holy triumvirate of maybe Lon Kruger is the guy that we look back at and say he's got professional playing time in
Almost
these three.
He could have been like the short, white Dave Winfield.
Yes.
Dave Winfield was drafted in all three.
Yes.
Better quarterback.
I didn't know any of that.
Lon Kruger or Troy Aikman.
Oh, Lon Kruger, no question. Not even close.
I'm just curious. I was just
Silver
wondering
Lake,
who-
Kansas.
I was just wondering who the best Cowboys quarterback there was.
I didn't know any of that. I don't even know Lon Kruger was OU's head basketball coach until today. So I'm just learning.
And by the way, he took 5 teams to the NCAA tournament. 2 teams to a Final Four.
I didn't know you had such a wealth of Lon Kruger information.
Coached in the NBA.
Real good coach.
Yeah.
This segment.
I knew he played basketball at K-State. I didn't know about the football or baseball thing.
He didn't play football at K-State.
No, I said I knew he played basketball at K-State, but I didn't know about the football. Or,
I don't
the
know
football
how
history.
he got
How
to
did he
the
get a
Cowboys
camp
camp.
invite?
I have no idea.
They probably were just I imagine he played in high school being the
really
best
good.
athlete, and they were just
Yeah.
oh, this guy's a good athlete.
That was probably
why
the
not?
70s, mid-70s was the end of the era of colleges basically taking small town legends out of their home state and then playing them in multiple sports. It ended there. They're oh, we can travel to California and recruit guys from LA. Okay, we don't need Silver Lake anymore.
This segment's gone a little long.
Good one.
Thanks.
Show's about to be long gone.
I wish all of us could retire.
Yeah.
You know what it would be if this show ended on time and didn't push all the way to the very end of the hour?
Huh.
A real shaka.
Oh, wow.
Mick Shaffer, 41 Action News. Say goodbye to my mom.
See you, Michelle.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Reed Buick GMC.